and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
What makes AutoZone America's #1 battery destination? Because they offer free battery testing and charging and reliable replacement batteries. And they've always got your battery solution. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
We are Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Down the sideline to the 10. He drags a defender in the end zone for a touchdown. Jackson Smith-Njigba, a 50-yard scoring strike from C.J. Stroud. He'll hit the Purdue 40. Down the left side to the 30. Henderson to the 20, to the 10. And into the end zone goes Henderson.
Don't miss the Buckeyes all season long. Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio and on 92.9 Jack FM. Go Bucks!
Justin Kinner with you here on a Friday. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Just me today. Kev Nash is live right now out at the Trotwood Firehouse for the holiday help out. His portion that he's covering is with Hot 102.9 and 92.1 WROU. The holiday help out food drive that we'll be a part of is going to be kicking off coming up here. Let's see, it's 3 o'clock in just under 2 hours, 5 o'clock. We're excited about that. So that's coming up here around the corner for those watching live on Facebook and YouTube. The holiday help out, ESPN Radio. We're going to be live at Washington Township Recplex, the Woodman Lights coming up here tonight, 5 o'clock to 9 p.m. 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. We'll be accepting your donations as well as all day tomorrow and 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Sunday. Looking forward to seeing some of you here tonight. I'm with you for 2 hours. Then I'm bolting. I got to get over there, and it's supposed to be just a little bit breezy, just a little bit chilly out tonight, nonetheless. But I have jackets on jackets, and we'll see what ends up happening. But I do hope to see a lot of you guys out there tonight. Come on out. Drop off some of your donations. Again, all the food is going to be heading to the Good Neighbor House, which, of course, will be packaged together for some needy families here around the holiday season. A lot of families in need during the holiday season, especially with Thanksgiving coming up a week from, yesterday, I guess. We're under a week away. So this is always something we look forward to doing each and every year, and we're hoping you guys are a part of it. So looking forward to seeing some of you tonight. NFL Week 11, that's what we're going to open up with, and it's just me today, so we'll see if I can be on my best behavior. I'll do my best. NFL Week 11 kicked off technically last night. The Packers losing to the Titans 27-17. The Packers 4-7 on the season. Their playoff chances, I mean, they're it's not a good football team. I know in the NFL, a lot of times we like to talk about, well, are you still in the hunt? All that matters is, it doesn't matter about style points. It doesn't matter about how you look. But sometimes it does. Like, I do think that sometimes we get too caught up in the fact that, well, it just, a win is a win, and that's all that matters. You need X amount of wins to make the playoff, blah, blah, blah. But the Green Bay Packers are a prime example of why a win is not just a win, and a loss is not just a loss. The Packers could have played a tough one last night, been tied at 27, and the Titans could have won with the field goal at the end of regulation, and boom, the result would have been the same, but there would have been a different vibe about the Packers. This is not one of those types of things here. The Packers lost. They are mathematically still in the playoff hunt, but this is not a playoff team. The Cleveland Browns, another example. They are mathematically still technically, for whatever reason, still in the playoff hunt. But with that run defense and the inconsistencies on offense and the weird coaching decisions from Stefanski, this is not a playoff team. Mathematically, they're still in it. They're not a playoff team. Will it be different when they get their quarterback here in a few weeks? Possibly. But again, bringing in a quarterback is not going to all of a sudden fix the horrendous run defense that is the Cleveland Browns. But a lot of big games coming up this weekend, and we're going to really start seeing the contenders separate themselves from the pretenders. It's a long, grueling season. It's Week 11. They've played for 2.5 months now, 10 weeks into the season. Injuries have taken over for a lot of teams. Everyone's injured. Everyone's banged up. But it's, survival of the fittest at this point. And you got the Browns and the Bills coming up. The Browns are 3-6 on the season. They're an 8-point dog. Supposed to be at Buffalo, but technically now in Detroit at Ford Field, and Buffalo is still an 8-point favorite. Buffalo is supposed to be the home team. Technically, they are the home team, but I think there's going to be more Browns fans in attendance for this one. I am surprised that that line has not shifted at all. With all of the question marks, with all of the uncertainty all week when it comes to the weather that was happening in Buffalo, even with the fact that there was going to be 3 to 6 feet of snow, which that is currently blanketing the Buffalo area right now, by the way. With all of that being said, the line has not moved at all. It's remained at 8. It's announced that the game is going to be played now in Detroit. It's going to be at Ford Field. And guess what? The line remains at 8. I think the fact that you're playing, you're no longer playing in Buffalo. You no longer have that home field advantage. I thought that would at least shift the line by at least maybe 2 points. It hasn't shifted at all. Very interesting. And maybe it takes a hard swing as we get closer and closer to Sunday. But for those of you who are into the sports betting conversation points out there, I still have been keeping an eye on this line. I find it fascinating. The over-under has remained the same all week as well. Nothing has shifted. Nothing has changed. Will it as we get closer? Who knows? But I do think that although the Cleveland Browns might get a slight home field advantage now, I don't think it's going to be enough to completely, allow me to put the Browns as the favorites heading into this matchup. The bottom line is there's some other weird things happening right now with Buffalo. The whole reason that this game was moved was because of the weather. They knew this weather was coming. They knew, they were about to get blanketed with this blizzard, with these blizzard-like conditions, 3 to 6 feet of snow. I think it's up to 4 feet as we currently sit here right now. And there's a lot of Buffalo Bills players who have gone live on Snapchat or Instagram, and posted on Snapchat and Facebook and other social media platforms out there that a lot of these, there's a state of emergency. They're not allowed to leave their homes. You can't fly, you can't drive, you can't do anything. And I'm questioning, what the heck is happening with the Buffalo Bills? To me, if it comes down to the point to where they can't arrive in time for Sunday, then that's on them, because they knew that this was coming. How these guys are still even in Buffalo knowing that this storm was coming is still beyond me. Now the big concern is, they're supposed to be in Detroit by now. They haven't even left. They may not be able to leave for another day or two. Well, you only have another day or two. The game's on Sunday. It's Friday. The snow is still coming down today. They're not going to be able to leave their homes all day tomorrow. I mean, they might have to fly in the morning of Sunday and everything along those lines. My thing is this: you don't move the kickoff time. You've already had to move the actual location of the game. You don't move the kickoff time. You either kick off at 1, you play with who's there, or you forfeit the game. That's wishful thinking. I'm being a Browns homer. That's what I want. But I don't understand why, if the Buffalo Bills understood and knew that the storm was coming, why are they still in Buffalo? Why was there not, why was there no travel organized for this ahead of time? The whole reason you moved the game, or there was doubts about the game happening in Buffalo anyways, was because of the weather, and they're still hanging out there. I don't understand that at all. Doesn't make any sense as far as I'm concerned. We're live on Facebook, live on YouTube. I'll get to the playoff stuff coming up in just a moment, guys, I promise. But nonetheless, as we currently sit here right now, I'm just opening up with all the NFL talk for the time being. But 518-1410, is it strange at all to anyone out there, especially Browns fans, that the Browns are kind of being jerked around a little bit, mainly because of the fact that this game should have been played in Buffalo. This game should have been played in Buffalo. If this was the other way around, and I think, to me, the NFL protecting the Buffalo Bills, they're protecting Josh Allen. They want Josh Allen, who's already banged up, and he's one of the faces of the league. They don't want him getting banged up, having to play in this poor weather. They don't want the Bills potentially losing to the Browns. I don't think that the NFL really wants the Browns in a position to be winning football games, especially this way. Look, I'm not a big conspiracy theorist by any means, but I do think that it is very strange that the NFL moved this game. How many blizzard games have we seen in recent history? The NFL didn't even want to move games half the time for COVID, but yet this blizzard's coming in Buffalo. Not a surprise there. It happens all the time, and they moved the game to an indoor facility as well. And you could say, well, they moved it to Detroit, and that's in favor of the Browns. That's not in favor of the Browns. That's in favor of the Bills. The Bills can now pass. The Bills can pass the football now. The Bills can be the Bills. Josh Allen could be Josh Allen. The NFL protected Josh Allen. They protected the Bills. They stuck it to the Browns. It's what the league does, and that's fine. The Browns are the villains. The Browns are the bad guys. The Browns is the Browns, right? Like, let's just be clear. If this was any other game out there, if this was any other situation out there, would the game have been moved? Highly doubt it. Hell, the Bills just played in a very similar game 2 years ago. Tyrod Taylor, 3 years, I guess 4. Man, time does fly. But 4 years ago? The last time that we watched a crazy game like that, ironically enough, Tyrod Taylor, former Browns quarterback, former Bills quarterback, was the quarterback at that time. Jacoby Brissett was actually the quarterback for the Colts at the time. He played in that as well. All I'm saying is I find it very fishy. I find it very odd, and I'm kind of irritated with the entire situation. But watch what happens if they continue screwing with the kickoff time and everything. By the way, they can't move it too much because of the fact that Buffalo does play on Thanksgiving Day. So you know what I mean? Like, we're less than a week away from their Week 12 matchup to kick off that week's worth of games. So I'm irritated with the whole thing. Everyone's like, well, why would you want your team to play in that blizzard? Selfishly, that would have been an advantage for the Browns, but that's the whole reason why I think that this game was moved in the first place. The league doesn't want Cleveland to win this. They don't want Cleveland to get a big win over Buffalo. They don't want Buffalo to lose their third straight. Right now, what's best for the NFL is to have their star quarterback, Josh Allen, one of the faces of the league, remain in good shape. Playing in that snow too is dangerous for Josh Allen. They don't care if it's dangerous for anybody else. But no, the NFL put the Bills into position to be successful, and that's what's going to happen. The Browns, their defense is horrible. They're not stopping a nosebleed as far as I'm concerned when it comes to that. All right, 518-1410, 518-1410. Justin Smith says, all the poor Browns. Yes, I know. No one feels sorry for the Browns. I don't expect you to. I'm not asking you to. It doesn't change the fact that if the roles were reversed, if your Pittsburgh Steelers, Mr. Smith, were in this situation, you'd be pretty frustrated too. Play the ball as it lies. I had to hit it off Frankenstein's big foot. Remember that line? That's all I'm saying. 518-1410, 518-1410. I'm alone today in studio. Kev Nash live at the Trotwood Firehouse. So when you call in, I think a Matthew is calling in right now. Matthew, I'm putting you on hold for just a brief moment. I'm going to collect. I see a Tim and an Eric calling in as well. Guys, give me a few. I'm working the phones alone today. I'm going to get you guys on hold. Your thoughts on the Browns and the Bills matchup. Should the NFL have moved that? I don't think they should have. I think it should have been played in Buffalo. Should have been played in Buffalo. That's just, at the end of the day, the only reason it was moved is because, it might impact Josh Allen. They made the Bills play in these very same circumstances just 4 years ago. You want to know why they made them play in the same circumstance 4 years ago? Because the Bills were garbage and they didn't care. Now they're protecting their asset. Their asset is Josh Allen at this point. 518-1410, 518-1410. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. We'll be right back. Our phone lines are open. We'll get your spot in line, and you could join the show when we come back.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, beat the largest timeshare company in federal court and has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-897-4400. That's 800-897-4400.
My doctor told me my blood pressure is borderline. I figured I could worry about it or do something about it. So I took control with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula. It works safely and naturally to help maintain healthy blood pressure with a custom blend of garlic, vitamins, and minerals. And it's odor-free. I'm taking charge with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
Germain Honda Beaver Creek is your local Honda dealer. If you've been waiting to buy, now is the time. 2022 Honda Pilots with financing as low as 1.9%, 2022 Honda Passports and 2023 Ridgelines with financing as low as 2.9%, and all in stock for immediate delivery. We will save you money today. See me, Sales Manager Jason High, for all the details. We're located Route 35, just east of 675 between Xenia and Beaver Creek. Germain Honda, Beaver Creek, the right car, the right price, the right way. I hope to see you soon.
Have you heard? $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right. My friends at Cordell Transportation are now hiring Class A CDL drivers for home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freight with brand new equipment, and offering a $5,000 sign-on bonus paid over 18 months, paid orientation, company 401k. Plus, they're now hiring recent truck driving school graduates. Apply today. Online at CordellTransportation.com. Driven to succeed.
The Wendy's $3 breakfast deal is here. Get a bacon or sausage, egg, and Swiss croissant, plus a small seasoned potatoes. That's a better breakfast for just $3 in 3 easy steps. 1, wake up. 2, get out of bed. And 3, head to Wendy's for your $3 breakfast deal. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's $3 breakfast deal.
Limited time only. Participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hour. Select a request $3 breakfast deal in order to obtain discount. Not valid for a la carte or combos orders. Price and participation may vary in Alaska and Hawaii.
Meet Joe A,
Hi.
Joe B,
Hello.
and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect, support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Your daily commute. You could do it alone. The downside is spending thousands each year on gas, parking, and vehicle maintenance, not to mention the air pollution you're causing. There is a smarter way. Introducing GoHio Commute. What is GoHio Commute? It's a free service with info on commuting options like ride matching for carpoolers, van poolers, and bike poolers, and links to local public transit providers. Go to MiamiValleyRideshare.org or call 223-SAVE for details. GoHio Commute, a smarter way.
Justin Kinner back with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM, 518-1410, 518-1410. That's the number to call and jump in on the conversation. Matthew, I see, is on hold. Eric, Mike, and I think Tim is the other one. We'll get you guys coming up here in just a moment. To reset here, the Cleveland Browns, the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills, an 8-point favorite coming up on Sunday. That's if the Buffalo Bills arrive in Detroit on Sunday, nonetheless. Found it interesting. There was so much to be made about this big blizzard, this 3 to 6 feet of snow that was expected to dump all over Buffalo, which is doing it right now, by the way. And it's coming down. It's coming down pretty good. In fact, right now they're restricting travel and everything else that's happening over there right now. And the big question I have is, Buffalo, what were you thinking if you knew that this was coming? This whole location of the game was completely moved. The game not happening in Buffalo, now happening in Detroit. It's happening in Detroit because of the storm. They cancel their practice today. They're having to meet virtually now. They had to meet virtually earlier in the week because there was a sickness kind of making its way through the locker room. And at the end of the day, it's one of those situations where Buffalo knew that this was coming. Now there's all the Buffalo Bills players posting all over their social media pages that they're kind of stuck in their house. They're not allowed to leave. They can't travel. They can't get to an airport. They can't be picked up. They can't drive. They can't get to a bus. They can't do anything. There's 3 to 6 feet. I think 4, the last I heard, 4 feet of snow that's being dumped on Buffalo right now. They kick off in less than, 48 hours. You got to find a way. While it's still dumping snow now, it's going to snow pretty much all day tomorrow. So how are you supposed to travel to Detroit if that's the case? Fly out Sunday morning? This is on Buffalo. They shouldn't move, and now there's talks of them potentially moving the kickoff time from 1 until later in the day to accommodate the Buffalo in case they get in late. No, absolutely not. It's bad enough. If I'm Cleveland, I'm already irritated that they moved the location of the game anyways. Yes, does it technically kind of favor Cleveland? Will they have a little bit more of their fans in attendance now because it's in Detroit? Yes, but let's not act like the NFL wasn't paying attention to the significance of what that kind of snowstorm would mean for the outcome of this game. It could have potentially been a tie. Could have potentially been the Browns coming out with a win, which we just can't have that. The Browns they're the number one villain in football right now. Nobody likes the Browns, and that's okay. This isn't a woe is me, poor Browns fan type of segment here. It doesn't mean that what I'm saying isn't true. If Buffalo was, I'm just like, if Buffalo was bad, by the way, this wouldn't be happening. Buffalo was bad a few years ago when they had Tyrod Taylor. They actually played the Colts. They played Jacoby Brissett, ironically enough. The last time in Buffalo when there was a ton of snow dumped down. There was all the talk afterwards of, oh, man, maybe we shouldn't have had that game. Maybe we shouldn't have played the game. Maybe we should have thought about moving that game. They didn't. You know why? Because Buffalo stunk. They were average at best that year. I think they made the playoffs. And then after that, so this is a couple years ago, because after that, that's the year that Josh drafted Josh Allen the year after, whatever it was. But the bottom line is, they're only moving this because they're taking care of their golden boy, Josh Allen. Josh Allen could do no wrong. He could do no wrong. And by the way, Josh Allen's a very good quarterback and MVP candidate, and deservedly so. I would love to have Josh Allen as my quarterback, and I would love for my team to have that Josh Allen treatment. Deshaun Watson will never get that treatment. Deshaun Watson will be disliked by everyone for a long, long time, and rightfully so. I'm not here to defend him. But I do think it's kind of messed up. If I'm Cleveland, I'm raising a little bit more hell about this. I'm saying this game should have been played in Buffalo. It's snowing Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. It's not snowing on Sunday. On Sunday, you would have enough time to clear that field. We've seen it happen in other, East Coast time zones before. So I don't want to hear that. I'm irritated as a fan. And then today, Buffalo, now they're talking about moving the kickoff later in the day on Sunday in case they can't get in until late tomorrow night or, of course, early Sunday morning. Too bad. That's on Buffalo. You should have taken care of business sooner. Doesn't make any sense to me. The league just continuing to pamper Buffalo, who's made bad decision after bad decision with this anyways. The game should have happened. It should have happened already. Let's see. Nick on Facebook said the second it was moved, the Bills team should have left. Agreed. I have no clue. Now they're stuck in this storm, a storm that they knew was coming, and now they want to be the victim. It doesn't make any dang sense to me. Jeffrey Thompson says, I wonder if it would have been possible to clear enough snow out. I mean, I think the snow's supposed to stop about midday tomorrow and not snow at all on Sunday. It doesn't mean that the snow, just because it stops snowing, that snow disappears. But I mean, it is the NFL. They got plenty of money. They got plenty of snow plows. They got plenty of manpower. If they if they needed to make it happen, they would make it happen if they really wanted to. But it's best to make sure that Josh Allen can throw the football, to make sure the Bills keep winning, to make sure that Josh Allen remains in the MVP hunt. That's exactly what's going on here. Justin Smith kind of was ribbing me a little bit ago, but he did say, he said the poor Browns and all this stuff, but he did say that, I agree, though. Play the game in Buffalo. I love watching games like that. And by the way, that would have got a huge rating. Huge rating. I know there's just something about snow games that it's you don't see it often. There's just something unique about it. And that would have drawn a huge rating. Would it have been pretty football? Absolutely not. It would have been very, very unique, though. That is for sure. Ann Anderson said, does anyone care that maybe the support staff, cops, street crews, traffic control would be better served actually helping the people of Buffalo instead of policing some meaningless football game? If you ask those, I see what you're saying, Ann. I know, right now we're acting like this is a huge deal, but it's not a huge deal. You live in Buffalo. These types of storms happen all the time. They're equipped. They know how to handle it. I don't know. I see what you're saying. Maybe there's some kind of national emergency and maybe they shouldn't be attending to a football game, but if they only have enough cops to attend a football game and not anything else, then that's also on them. Brian says, I think you have a legit beef. I would love to see a snow game. Oh, I was expecting a lot, you Bengals fans, to pile on me. I appreciate that there's a little bit of mutual understanding here. So thank you. Thank you very much. Jeff McPherson says, well, we could have had Josh Allen, but we chose Baker. So there's that. Don't make this worse, Jeff. Don't make this worse. Some guy, what up? Some guy goes, Greg Newsome out now with a concussion, ran into a teammate in practice. You know why I don't believe that, some guy? Because Brown's secondary guys haven't been making contact with anybody this year. That's why I don't believe that all of a sudden now he's making contact in practice. But that's typical. Brown's secondary, soft as tissue, man. It's unbelievable. Let's see. Daniel Robinson, dude, you full of it. Blame Buffalo. I'm full of what? You could fill in the blank. A lot of people are probably finishing that sentence for you. Blame Buffalo. Blame Buffalo for what? I'm blaming Buffalo now for not getting to Detroit. There's the talks that, they stayed after the game was moved. The game was announced that it was moved yesterday. Everyone should have got the heck out of town right away. Now they're hanging around. Now they're stuck in Buffalo. I don't know what you mean. Matt says 70-inch snowstorms don't happen all the time. A foot, yes, not several foot. I didn't say that wrong. He typed it that way. Again, you have time to clear it. They had time to clear it. Just saying. Doug Toby says, common sense. This is not your typical snowstorm. It's Buffalo. They get snow. It's fine. They'd be fine. Clear it. They'll be fine. If they wanted to clear it, they'd clear it. If the NFL needed this game to happen, like needed this game to happen, they would have found a way. But instead, they found a way to protect Josh Allen and make sure that the Bills are taken care of, and that's fine. Nick says football is meant to be played in the elements, play in the snow. I agree. Randy Bertholf says the quote on ESPN is the decision was made to not leave for Detroit sooner because the change in venue wasn't reached until Thursday afternoon. General Manager Brandon Beane said if it had been made sooner, maybe they would have had considered the team leaving before the storm started Thursday night. Okay, afternoon. The second it was announced in the afternoon, all you rich asses can figure it out. Y'all have the money to get private jets. Y'all could, you know what I mean? You could the charter, whatever you need to do. They have them. It's the NFL. They fall asleep and just pee money out. Like, let's be clear. They could have made it happen. And Randy, thank you. But yes, this was announced Thursday afternoon. The snowstorm started Thursday night. They could figure it out. They chose to stay. If they can't make it, forfeit. Browns get the win. Bam. It's my only hope of the Browns picking up a win at this point of the season. Nolan Russell says, breaking news, nobody likes the Browns. That's not breaking news. That's just another day of the week that ends in Y, my friend. That ain't Matt says, time to clear it. Heck, they might not even make it. According to a lot of sources, they may not even be able to fly out till Sunday at 10 to 11 a.m. Sorry about it. Sorry about it. Bye, Buffalo. You lose. You forfeit. You knew about it. You chose to stay. That's on you. Yeah, they've been jerking the Browns all around for how many days now? Sorry about it. Move on. Dennis says, dude, I totally agree with you on this, except for the conspiracy part, which is actually really interesting, though. Look, maybe I'm stirring the pot just a little bit. I don't actually think that the NFL, but like there are certain teams and there are certain players that the NFL knows. And by the way, if it is a conspiracy theory, I will say this, it's good business on the side of the NFL. You know, if you know, you don't, the Bills have lost, what, 2-3 straight now or whatever it is, back-to-back, 3 straight. You know, they end up losing 4 straight if they lose to Cleveland on Sunday because of a snowstorm. I mean, like the NFL's protecting their investment. Their investment are their quarterbacks, the legit quarterbacks. Josh Allen's one of those. It doesn't surprise me. Every rule, every decision that they make is to protect those quarterbacks and allowing them to play in there and taking Josh Allen out of a big game like this. And by the way, we're heading into the final 5 weeks of the season now. It's 5-6 weeks of the season now. I can't believe after this week, we're only down to the final, like a month and a half of the regular season. The playoffs are approaching and approaching fast. Every game is getting bigger and bigger. Let's see. Daniel Robinson. NFL didn't report the move till yesterday, and the snow was already hitting Buffalo. This is advantage to Cleveland. Daniel, how in the you're new to, I haven't seen you pop on the page yet, so I'll wait to be rude till later once you get to know me a little bit more. But I disagree. I don't think it's an advantage to Cleveland at all. I don't think it's an advantage to Cleveland even in the slightest. I know someone just came in and said, well, no, now they're going to have home fans. Hey, I went to my first Browns game in Cleveland. They lose in front of their home fans too. It's what they do. This is not an advantage for the Browns. This is an advantage for Buffalo because Buffalo is not going to be able to throw that football in the elements. Now they're going to be able to throw all over the place playing indoors. But I see what you're saying, Daniel, but I disagree. That's definitely not an advantage for Cleveland at all. Nick said, how many bad weather games did Brady play in? Do better NFL. I mean, and that really is their golden child. That is the guy that they take care of more than anybody else, right? But I guess that was kind of back in the day before Tom Brady was Tom Brady. But yeah, it snows in Buffalo. That's what it does. Get an indoor, arena if you have to. Figure it out. Canceling games because of snow. My goodness. Let's see. Matt, Cleveland is buying all the tickets, so it'll be like a home game. In what universe? Cleveland's 3-6 this year. They're 3-6 this year. They lose at home. They lose on the road. They'd lose on the moon. They'd lose at Welcome Stadium. Cleveland loses. That's what they do. Just saying. I mean, I know what you're saying, but a home field advantage, that's not a... Well, that is an interesting angle. I mean, I guess, Matt, I see what you're saying. I just disagree. I do not think that this gives Cleveland the advantage. I think this hurts Cleveland more. In fact, if you ask the Cleveland Browns, I think they are more disappointed about returning back closer to home, playing at Detroit in front of more of their fans than they would be playing in front of none of their fans in Buffalo with the blizzard coming down, because then that would neutralize Josh Allen, and all they have to do is just hand the ball off to Nick Chubb the whole time. Daniel says, advantage, we won't have no fans because they stuck in Buffalo. Josh can run and has been in snow before. I can't, never mind. So you're a Bills fan, Daniel. Is that what I said? I'm assuming you're a Bills fan. Okay. So Buffalo and us fans want the game in Buffalo. Trust me. It should be there. But actually, no, you shouldn't want it in Buffalo, though. That's the thing. Why would you want it in Buffalo? Your best player, Josh Allen, is arguably the second best quarterback in the NFL behind Patrick Mahomes, and it's because of his arm. His arm would be a non-factor in that game if it was in Buffalo. His arm will now go win a game against Cleveland because they're playing indoors in Detroit. All right, 518-1410, 518-1410. That's the number to call and jump in on the conversation. Now, let me kill the music. Let me see if we still have Matthew. Matthew, is this you? Matthew. All right, we lost Matthew. All right, we'll get to Tim and Eric and a couple of the others. I will continue to read, get your responses on the Facebook page. Appreciate the interaction on that, especially on a day like today by myself, basically just talking to myself, hanging out with all of you. It's tough to take calls right now live on the show. I can get you guys during the break, of course, but interact with us on the show, the Justin Kinner Show Facebook page. Everyone has Facebook. Go check it out. ESPN Dayton YouTube channel. Make sure you're subscribing to that as well. I'll have more information, by the way, for those who would love to give back to the community this holiday season. We have our Holiday Help Out Food Drive that starts in, an hour and 23 minutes. I'll tell you how you can help us out coming up around the corner as well. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. We'll be right back. Dayton Flyers basketball fans, don't miss Talking Out Loud, presented by Timothy's Bar and Grill, every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. with Sully. The #1 Dayton Flyers basketball podcast is now on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Game reactions and previews, interviews with UD Media, former players, and more can be heard every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. It's the Talking Out Loud Hour with Sully, presented by Timothy's Bar and Grill on 1410 ESPN Radio, Wednesday nights at 6. Wear red, be loud, go Flyers.
O'Reilly. Count on the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts to recommend the best products for your vehicle and budget. Get maximum cooling system performance for 10 years or 300,000 miles with Peak Long Life Universal Pre-Mixed Antifreeze and Coolant. Now just $3.99 after mail-in rebate. Limits apply. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Everyone can boost their digital confidence with NordVPN. All it takes is one simple click. NordVPN will block online trackers, hide your virtual location, and secure your devices from malware-infected files during downloads. It will also detect malicious websites. So catch the Black Friday deal for a 1 or 2 year plan at NordVPN.com and get 3 months for free. NordVPN, cybersecurity built for every day.
Staples stores are a new world of possible with innovative tools for small business and remote workers and learners. Explore more at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com.
On Twitter, make sure to give us a follow. Search 1410 Kinner for Justin Kinner on Twitter. That's 1410 KINNER. And ESPN Dayton for the station Twitter handle.
Immediately following the show today, I'm going to be heading out to the Washington Township Recplex for our Holiday Help Out Food Drive. I appreciate everyone that has helped us share this event on their social media pages and to kind of help get the word out there. But again, the holiday season is officially upon us. Thanksgiving is less than a week away, and all weekend long, ESPN Radio 1410. We're going to be live out at the Washington Township Recplex again. Excited about that because we're going to be accepting donations from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. tonight, 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. tomorrow, and then 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Sunday. In the link, which I'm about to put into the comment section, but you could also see it on the Justin Kinner Show Facebook page. Click on that link. You'll be able to see all the items that we really need, really any items that can go towards a Thanksgiving Day meal. All this food will be packaged and prepared for families in need this holiday season. The Holiday Help Out Food Drive Again, thanks to our partners over at the Good Neighbor House, because they're the ones that are really help organizing all of the donations that you bring to us. But we're going to be there all weekend long at the Washington Township Recplex. It's going to be cold, but it's going to be worth it. We're really looking forward to this. Again, a lot of work has been put into helping organize this. I appreciate our sponsors and Blake Maislin and Buffalo Wild Wings who have come forth and really help get a lot of these items put in place too to help these families in need. So appreciate them as well. And then our sister stations, 92.9 Jack FM and 101.5 Hank FM. They'll also be assisting us live out at Washington Township Recplex. Coming up here in just an hour and 20 minutes from now is when everything starts. I'll be heading over there immediately following the show. But please, really looking forward to meeting some of you. If you have the time, come on out, make a donation. I'd really love to see and meet some of you guys. I think I actually look forward to meeting you. I don't think you guys look forward to meeting me, but that's okay. But we could take our sports caps off at least for stuff like this, right? Like we could all get along when it comes to at least coming together to help give back to our community. So I think that's pretty important. But yeah, looking forward to that. Kev Nash, he's in Trotwood right now at the Trotwood Firehouse. 92.1 WROU, Faith Daniels and Kev Nash with Hot 102.9. They're doing the holiday help out in Trotwood at the fire station over there. We're just doing our part over here a little further south. So if you want to make stop out and make a donation over there with Kev, you could do that as well. But we're going to be all over all weekend long. So there's that. By the way, for those who can't make it out to the holiday help out because you just got too much going on this weekend, maybe some family Thanksgivings a little early. I know for those who have multiple families and trying to get as many Thanksgivings in as possible. I get that. There is a link in there at wingam.com that you can make a monetary donation to the Good Neighbor House, and that will all go back towards this food drive as well to help give back to the community this holiday season. All right, live on Facebook, interacting with everyone now. About the Browns and the Bills game. I want to move on from the Browns-Bills conversation. I just want to make sure we get everything in here with everyone interacting this. So Daniel Robinson, he said, this dude biased and a joke. He's talking about me. I'm biased and I'm a joke. Well, Daniel, I think you're biased and I think you're a joke. I mean, we're going to get the name calling thing. Why am I a joke? I think you're being biased. I mean, your team's Buffalo, so you think that everything that's happening is being done, is happening for the right reasons and everything's, great and hunky-dory for you. Of course, you're a Bills fan. That's fine. And as a Browns fan, of course, I'm going to sit here and think that, we're being screwed over. That's what fans do, right? Like, I don't like the Bengals. The Bengals don't like me. I don't think their team's good. They don't think my team's good. Their team's better than my team, so that's painful. But, like, we all get real defensive when people say bad things about our team. So I get why, Daniel, you're all up in your feelings. You're getting real emotional right now, calling names, and that's okay. That's okay. You're a Bills fan. You're a Bills fan. That's totally fine. Whoever. He goes, who cares about the Browns? He wants to forfeit, LOL. He said lame, bruh. So there's that. Whatever. Okay. Everyone's biased, though. I'm tired of having these same conversations all the time. I wish I could ban the word bias from crybaby fans who, when they hear something they don't like, it's, that's bias. That's bias. By the way, if I agree with you, Daniel, if I say that you are right about your Bills team, isn't that me showing bias for your Bills team? Like, you see how stupid that sounds? Stop with the lazy bias. Someone disagrees with me. They have a bias. Well, they disagree with you, so they disagree with your bias. Like, stop. This stuff's stupid. It's dumb. It's okay. Like, it's not that big a deal. I have my opinion. You have yours. Bills, I get it. Bills will be fine. Just start winning some football games and start playing like you did to start the season. Everything will be fine. Then you won't be all mad and taking it out on me. All right. Daniel says, crybaby brownies, have fun on your loss. Okay. Congratulations. You're talking smack to a 3-6 team. You feel better? You feel good? I don't know. I don't know what you want to say to that. Nick says, not sure if you said, are the lights going to be on? The Woodman lights, yes. That's happening tonight. The Woodman lights, I've actually never been out there for that, so I'm pretty excited about that. I have some friends coming out to attend it as well. So, yes, that'll be – that's what makes this even cooler, too, if you're going to come out to make a donation tonight. You'll at least be able to check out the Woodman lights. It's going to be cold, so bundle up. Some guy says, I have not heard the word forfeit one time. Sometimes people just hear what they want. Well, some guy, to be fair, I did say – I said if the Bills, if the league keeps trying to kick the can down the road because the Bills, the situation over there, at some point you just need to say, hey, this game can't be played, forfeit Buffalo. Threw it out there. It's not going to happen. I could say that all I want. I know it won't happen. But to be fair, yes, I did kind of maybe throw that out there, but nonetheless. All right, 518-1410. We're going to get to the Bengals and Steelers coming up in a moment. That's going to be an interesting matchup, mainly because of the fact that the last time those two teams played, it was a horrendous matchup in week 1. Really, any team that would have won, I never would have said that the better team won. The better team did not win in week 1, but the better team did not lose either. Both teams were equally bad. Bottom line is, I know that the Bengals are a better team than the Steelers, but I'm not sure how good the Bengals are right now. It is so weird to me who the Bengals are. I can't get a good feel for who they are right now without Jamar Chase, because we watched the ugliest of ugly games from them without Jamar Chase in the first time against the Browns, and then we saw an explosive game from the Bengals without Jamar Chase, but it had nothing to do with the pass game. Joe Burrow threw for like 200 yards. Joe Burrow, in his defense, he didn't have to really get too heavily involved because that's how dominant Joe Mixon was. But I do think that not really knowing what's happening right now is kind of interesting. Coming out of the bye week, still no Jamar Chase. You have Pittsburgh, who has TJ Watt back, and they're at full strength now. Now, luckily, as far as the defense for the Bengals goes, they get DJ Reader back, so that's going to be big. But the Steelers' offense is not very good, and I don't think that the Bengals' offense is very good right now. I think that the difference is the Bengals' offense is underachieving to where the Steelers' offense is just bad. But I don't know who the Bengals are. I think they're a 4-point favorite. That's a weird line. You don't see many 4-point lines out there. A 4-point favorite they are against the Steelers coming up this weekend. But I'm really intrigued because, on one part of me is like, man, Joe Burrow did not look good in the last game, but he didn't have to look good because that's how dominant the run game was. And then Joe Burrow says things like, well, man, if that's how we run the football, no one's going to beat us. Well, that's fine. You could say that, but that's not how you run the football. There's way more games. In fact, all but one game has shown that your run game stinks. You have one really, really good run game against one of the worst run defenses in the league, and now we're supposed to believe that, the run game is here, so now that they're about to take off. I don't think so. Had we watched the Bengals dominate the Panthers through the air, and you know what I mean? Like, we've seen the Bengals be dominant through the air. Like, they flip a switch every once in a while, and it's like they just overwhelm teams. Had they beat the Panthers like that, then I would be like, okay, yeah, they're fine without Jamar Chase. And I still think they're going to be okay without him, whatever that means. But at the same time, they are night and day different without him. That's just how special of a talent he is. But this matchup with the Steelers, everyone out there is like, Cincinnati has it. Cincinnati has it. Cincinnati has it. I don't know, especially with Pittsburgh getting Watt back. That pass rusher, the Bengals offensive line just continues to get worse and worse. That matchup is about as intriguing as the Bills and the Browns right now. I'm just glad both teams are done with their bye week. I can't tell you how happy I am that the Browns and Bengals are both done with their bye week, because now we got Browns-Bengals on every week for the rest of the season, and hopefully one of the two, if not both, into the postseason, but I highly doubt that. The Bengals have a better shot than the Browns. That's for sure. Let's go to Tip City. We got our friend Mark waiting on us. Mark and Tip, how are you, sir?
Good, JK. How are you, sir?
Another day in paradise. Man, it's a little breezy out.
It is a little breezy, and as you know, we don't always agree on everything, but I'm going to throw you a bone today, and I couldn't be any more on your side than I am, and here's why.
Oh, wow. I like this.
2 weeks ago, yeah. One great neutralizer sometimes in sports is weather, and if you've gone back 2 weeks ago and told Pat Fitzgerald at Northwestern that, hey, look, we're going to move this game to Lucas Oil Stadium. You're in Illinois, and Ohio State's in Ohio. We'll move it to Indiana because of 50-mile-an-hour winds and a driving rainstorm. He just said, are you crazy? We want this bad weather so we can keep this game closer. Had that game got moved to Lucas Oil Stadium, it's 49-6 Ohio State. Cleveland, although nobody wants to play in a 4 feet of snow, Buffalo's prepared for this weather-wise, the city. This is a bad move for the Browns. It takes away the Browns' ability to ground and pound and keep it close. It's just, and it is a conspiracy. I'm fully with you on this.
Now, and by the way, that's a hell of a comparison. I'm so glad you brought that up, because that is a great analogy right there to go into the college football realm and things, of course, with that Ohio State Northwestern game a few weeks. When we talk about, man, that was those elements were horrible to play in. Well, the only team that complained about those elements was the team that did not look like them typical selves, and that's the Buckeyes.
That's
Northwestern
exactly right.
loved it. That was horrible conditions for them, but they loved it because it gave them a shot. So the Browns would have loved to play in that blizzard-like weather because, hey, they have the tools to combat it in the run game, and that would have neutralized the offensive passing attack, of course, of the Bills. So, yes, this is a disadvantage for the Browns, despite the fact that they're going to have the home fans or home field advantage from the fan perspective, if you will, in Detroit.
Exactly. And like you said, the NFL moved the game. The city of Buffalo didn't move the game. They probably started preparing for this a week ago. They could have cleared us. Look, I'm not trying to compare 7 feet of snow and then rain and wind, but because there's some safety concerns for the people in Buffalo. I get that. But if we're just going to talk about this football game, there's no way, if you'd asked Pat Fitzgerald 3 days before the Ohio State game, would you like to move this to Lucas Oil Stadium? He just said, "Are you out of your mind?" No way. But it's just kind of comparing apples to oranges, but it is also kind of comparing apples to apples. But on this Friday, I do agree with you, sir.
Well, it was green apples to red apples. How about that?
Exactly.
I think that's better. But hey, no, Mark, I appreciate you. And yes, it was nice agreeing on something for once. So there you go.
Absolutely. Have a good day.
Take care. 518-1410, 518-1410. Daniel Robinson. All the players can, in a matter of hours, get their families in order and make sure everything is safe when they were supposed to have a home game. Then it changes, and they should just pack and leave, or it should be a forfeit. No one can predict lake effect forecast. You mean the forecast that's been in the news since last week? By the way, if we're talking about just regular, everyday, average Joe Schmoes that lived normal people lives, that you had a husband and a wife who work, 9, 10, 11-hour days and have to worry about babysitters for the kids and have to worry about this. We're talking about multi-millionaires who at the snap of a finger can just throw a dollar bill out the window and have all their problems taken care of. I don't feel bad for that. Like, this could be done. It's possible. Okay. It could be, it doesn't matter now. Like, it's too late now. I mean, they're in Buffalo. But stop trying to normalize millionaire professional athletes. They don't live the same lives as us. Their problems can get fixed a lot simpler than us. Really, it's okay. We put athletes up on a pedestal way too much sometimes. Like, the bottom line is they are adults that can make decisions, and they all made the wrong decision to stick around. The second that the game was moved, they should have gotten a plane and got over here. Bottom line. Now they're stuck there. I don't feel bad for them. Cleveland shouldn't either. Cleveland should say, "Hey, get here, let's go," or we're done. All right. Yeah, some guys, like, they've been predicting it for days already. Laugh my ass off. It's 2020. Exactly. I mean, the second that the Browns, in the middle of the Browns game last week, there was reports already coming out about the blizzard-like conditions that they could potentially be playing in Buffalo. This was coming out last Sunday. Lake effect. Like, also, you just woke up and bam, there it is. No. Come on now. Nathan Eisen, he says, just don't tell Joe Woods the game has been moved. Yes, I'm putting Joe Woods in the plane and sending him to Buffalo. Be like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you knew." Chad said NFL moved this game because they were afraid of being sued by a player that gets frostbite. Every fan wanted to see a big snow game. Frostbite? I can go out now. I can go get frostbite right now in the temperatures here in Dayton. Look, the NFL don't care about safety. I'm not trying to get into this like holier than thou, like COVID conversation, because I'm so sick of the COVID talk even to this day. I don't care about it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to think about it. But the NFL also, okay, they're so money hungry that although now you look back and all the answers are, okay, COVID, whatever, maybe they overreacted just a tad, blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. That's your opinion. But the NFL didn't care about waiting to get to the point to where they knew everything. They sardined everybody in these stadiums because money, and that's okay. The NFL has one job and one job only, and that's to make money. Their job is not to pretend that they care about safety, and the reason I say that is because they don't care about safety of anything and anybody. There was literally a global pandemic happening, and they sardined everybody into stadiums to watch their products so that they could sell their tickets, sell their merchandise, sell their beer, sell their nachos. Bam. This isn't really like I'm not trying to have like a moral conversation here. I'm mocking the idea that the NFL makes decisions based on safety. They've been scrambling guys' brains for decades, and the only reason they decided to protect these guys is because they were threatened, because the law told them they had to. It's the only reason. They don't care about safety. They never have. They never will. The only time that they make changes or address anything is when public perception really gets the best of them, and sometimes not even then. Daniel says, so a week ago, let's pack up and move to where? No one knew. You're not making sense. No, I'm making perfect sense. I didn't say a week ago for them to get up and move, but this storm was coming. There should have been preparations in place. Like, I'm done with the argument. 518-1410. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. We head into hour 2. Let's talk about the Bengals matchup, shall we? Bengals fans, the Steelers embarrassed you in week 1, although I think your team embarrassed themselves more than the Steelers embarrassed them. I think both teams. I think the Steelers tried to out-embarrass themselves while the Bengals were trying to do the same thing. And I don't know how that game didn't end in a tie. I actually was disappointed. No, both the Bengals or the Steelers did not deserve to get a win in week 1. That game deserved to end in a tie, although a tie still technically would have rewarded both teams. But my goodness, they were equal. A tie would have been fitting because they were both equally as embarrassingly bad. But nonetheless, it's now the rematch. I do not expect the same type of ugly game that we saw the first time around, right? Right? What do you think, Bengals fans? How confident are you in this Bengals-Steelers rematch the second time around? Phone lines open, 518-1410. The Justin Kinner Show Facebook page. We'll have the conversation there. A 4-point line. The Bengals are a 4-point favorite against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know what to make of this matchup. I'm not here to have a trolling conversation. I want to have a real conversation because I don't think that Bengals fans, you should be as confident as what you feel. But Steelers fans, I also don't think you should be talking smack either. I think this is one where both fan bases should go sit in the corner and wait till this one's over before you open your mouth. Because I think after what we saw last time, I don't think anyone deserves to have an opinion on what's at stake here coming up on Sunday. We'll be right back.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
First, we decide where we want to go. Then we need to know the best way to get there. Hi, my name's Adam Barada. I'm the owner of Advantage Gold. We're the highest rated precious metals firm in the country. We teach people how to own physical gold and silver. Now, we've won the Best of TrustLink Award 4 years in a row because we educate our clients on how to buy gold and silver the right way. We don't pay celebrity spokespeople millions of dollars. We'd rather pass that value on to you. Call 800-900-8000 and speak with one of our experts. We'll send you a free gold kit along with my latest #1 national best-selling book, The Great Devaluation. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. Get the best information, the best process, the best service, the best value. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Consult with your financial advisor before investing.
Well, I'm a orthopedic surgeon, board certified.
Meet Dr. John Herzog, who's certainly done his share of knee and hip replacements. But these days, he's encouraging his patients to look at regenerative medicine options, now available at QC Kinetics.
I'm kind of the anti-surgeon right now, and a lot of my buddies, if they hear me talking, they're going to give me a call.
Dr. Herzog says advances in regenerative medicine can give your achy joints lasting relief using highly concentrated healing agents from your own body to repair and restore damaged tissue.
We take the fluid out of you, we concentrate it, and put it in an area where they couldn't normally get to and facilitate healing.
Are you suffering from constant pain due to arthritis or injury? Maybe it's time to look at alternatives to drugs and surgery at QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in these exciting treatments.
What could be more natural than using your own body to heal yourself?
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 937-936-0325. That's 937-936-0325. 937-936-0325.
Dell's Black Friday event has arrived with select deals on top tech to power any passion. The savings start now with up to $400 off on select XPS and Alienware PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Don't forget, special pricing on the latest monitors, docks, and accessories, including free shipping on everything. Just call 877-ASK-DELL for Black Friday deals. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/find. That's ZipRecruiter.com/find.
This Black Friday, where do prices dropping mean upgrade your home shopping? Lowe's, actually. Get the Black Friday deals while you still can on things like appliances only at Lowe's.
You want more local content from Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM? Make sure you subscribe to the WING 1410 Dayton YouTube channel, where you can watch all your local shows live or go back and rewatch previous episodes of The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, The Keith Byers Show, Talking Out Loud with Sully, and more. We are Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes.
And into the end zone goes Chris Olave. KJ Hill, 6-yard touchdown catch. Right sideline and down he goes to the end zone.
WING 1410 Dayton, Dayton's ESPN Radio.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. We have our Holiday Help Out Food Drive. Starts in an hour. We'll be live at the Washington Township Recplex, accepting donations from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. tonight. And then, of course, 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. tomorrow, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Sunday. All of your donations go to, of course, our partner, the Good Neighbor House. And then all of this food will be packaged and delivered to families in need this holiday season. 518-1410. 518-1410. That's the number to call and jump in on the conversation. So we opened up the show. I did not think many people would. I really thought a lot more people would have disagreed with me about my take on this Bills and Browns thing. Like, I just think football, with all these outdoor stadiums, cancel games because it's snowing. Like, come on. You live in Buffalo. You should have an indoor arena if that's the case. You should have an indoor stadium in Buffalo if snow is why you're going to move football games. I mean, who would have thunk it? Anyways, here's what it is. There's snow in Cleveland too. Not this exact moment, but you see what I'm saying. Let's see. So Daniel Robinson, still mad at me. He's a Bills fan, I guess. He says, Ohio Sports Radio, let's go Browns. Go ahead, get paid on your ads and promotions. What? Okay. That's how radio works. It's like going to McDonald's and saying, hey, that's it. Keep making burgers and get paid making burgers. Yeah, that's what you do. So, yes, I am going to continue getting paid on our advertisements and our promotions and the bias thing. That's just what's cracking me up. First of all, you're mocking Ohio Sports Radio. You live in Ohio. You're listening to sports radio in Ohio. We're talking about Ohio teams, and you're mad about the bias. Yes, there is going to be a bias. And then, by the way, Ohio fans think I have a bias against their Ohio team. Like, this is silly. Stop with the bias, sir. Take the bias away. I think, again, are you biased? Like, don't you have a bias? Don't you have a bias for your Bills, right? Like, come on. Man, I don't know what your problem is. You're very salty for a Bills fan in Dayton, Ohio. I could see if I was like I have this conversation with Bengals fans all the time, but at least it's a little bit warranted. I understand why Bengals fans can't stand me. The Bengals are an hour south from here. We are closer to Cincinnati than Cleveland. I'm a Browns fan. I let my fandom of the Browns kind of take over the show at times. I admit that. It's a flaw. I'm 33. It's not going to change. So here we are. I at least understand where Bengals fans come from. What I don't understand is a Bills fan in Dayton, Ohio, mad at Ohio or mad at me because we're talking about Ohio-based teams, and heaven forbid we take our team's side. What? Come on now. We could do better. Like the Bengals, they put up a better fight when it comes to this stuff, Dan. You got to do a much better job than this. You're a fan of the Bills who can't play in snow. All right. It is what it is. Down the list we go. Chad Kinster says, or like these players suing the league for slipping and falling on the sidelines. Yes, we're talking earlier that potentially the league moved this game out of fear of potentially getting sued by fans and players for frostbite or being forced to play in the cold or whatever. I mean, look, the NFL does not get to make decisions based on safety. They've proven during COVID they don't care about safety. There was a global pandemic. They didn't care. They sardined people into these stadiums and still made money off ticket sales and obviously merchandise and everything else. So no. Let's see. Continuing to go down the list. William Yelly said they moved it solely for fantasy football purposes. Yes, but it's funny, though, because the different reactions we've been able to get on this have all been because some people they have Josh Allen at quarterback. They're thrilled that this game was moved. Other people have Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, and they're furious that this was moved, which, by the way, you could still run the football in Detroit with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. I mean, you could. You just have to hope Stefanski actually, I don't know, gives Nick Chubb more than 11 carries. That's the big kicker as far as I'm concerned. Chad says, I'm a Bengals fan, but I can see since, yes, thank you for reminding me to get back on track here. Let's get back on track here. Matt says, you're biased because I don't like your take. And he put sarcasm. Matt mocking the last guy that was mad at my bias. Yes. Yeah, exactly. That's why I laugh. I laugh at everyone when they say I'm biased. I'm like, I'm not biased. I just have an opinion you disagree with. Cincinnati Bengals fans who get mad at me. I can't believe I'm tired of your bias against my team. I mean, you should be professional. You should not have a bias. Really, if you go to Cincinnati, if you go listen to 700 WLW with Lance McAllister, he does a great job, by the way. Mo Egger, love Mo. I love listening to Mo. Mo does a fantastic job. They're professional as hell. They're biased. They're biased for the teams that they follow. They're fans of the Reds and Bengals. Lance is biased towards the Bengals. Mo is biased towards the Bengals. So, again, you want bias. You just want your bias. Anyways, I'm tired. We've had this conversation. Bengals Steelers coming up. 4-point line. The Bengals last played the Steelers back in week 1. They lost 23-21. Now, this was at home. Now they're at Pittsburgh. This is a 4:25 kickoff. This game was supposed to be a primetime game. They got moved. I had my fun with that. Y'all like to say, hey, it's because the Steelers are why they moved it out to primetime. Whatever. Maybe it's the team that's 5-4, underachieving, does not have Jamar Chase. And the quarterback has been really, really bummed since Jamar Chase has been out. I can understand why they would kick the Bengals at a primetime too. But we're all friends here. I like that we've all kind of rallied around one another to go against the Buffalo Bill fans. So kudos to that. So I'll take my foot off the gas a little for this conversation. But to recap real quick, the Bengals have had 2 games without Jamar Chase. In the game against the Cleveland Browns. All right, that was a horrendous game. Now, it's hard to gauge, was that game bad because they didn't have Jamar Chase, or was that game bad just because the Bengals, for whatever reason, to my delight, of course, they always just seem to play their worst against the Browns. Yes, it's a matchup thing. They have pass rushers, and the Bengals don't have anyone to block their pass rushers. But my big argument with that always is the Bengals, the Bengals face pass rushers every week. The Ravens have pass rushers. The Steelers have pass rushers. Everyone has pass rushers. And they still don't look as poorly against them as what they do against Cleveland. Well, Cleveland has a strong run game. A lot of it's the league is as balanced as it has been in a long time. Everyone can run the football. I'd say about 75% of the teams in the league could run the football. So I disagree with that as well. There are just some teams that, yes, we could just use the blanketed statement, say it's a matchup thing. They have Myles Garrett. Well, yeah, there's a lot of teams, so they have a good player. Lots of teams have good players. And not every team dominates Cincinnati the way Cleveland does on a regular basis. I'm not taking shots here, but it is weird. But we saw Joe Burrow throw for 232 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. And when you hear that stat line, it doesn't sound bad, but if you watched it, that was a bad game for Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow did not look good in that game, threw 35 times. Even on the 2 touchdowns, the 1 touchdown bobbled through someone's hand that would have been a pick. And then the one to T. Higgins clearly pushed off, but it doesn't matter. They got blown out 32-13. The Bengals only put 13 points up on the board. That's it. And then the other game for Joe Burrow was against the Panthers without Jamar Chase. And that game against the Panthers, also not very good. He threw for 206 yards. He threw 1 touchdown. Now, I will defend Joe Burrow slightly on this because do I think Joe Burrow had a good game against the Panthers? I do not. I do not think he looked good against the Panthers. He only threw for 206 yards. He was not effective. But to be fair, he didn't have to. He didn't have to be effective because that's how dominant Joe Mixon was. The problem is Joe Mixon averaging about 53 yards per game this year. He has been non-existent all season. He finally doesn't just arrive, he dominates. And now Bengals fans are even more confused. Who are we without Jamar Chase? We're really, really bad one week. Then we're really good the next, but we're not good because the past game we're good because we had a running back who had an outer body experience who has not even looked remotely good at all this season. I think all that game against the Panthers did was confuse Bengals fans even more. You felt good about the win as you should. In the NFL, yes, a win is a win. Talked about earlier how sometimes that's not always the case because sometimes you could win ugly and still not feel good about, well, man, we play like that moving forward. We're not winning many more of those football games. But you live to see another week. Being 5-4 is better than being 4-5. I'll give the Bengals that. But I have no clue who this Bengals team is. And I think that right now you're going to go up against a bad Steelers team with a very good defense. They have all the weapons we talked about why Cleveland is a matchup nightmare for the Steelers. Well, for the Bengals, that's also the Steelers, at least on the defensive front. The one thing is the Steelers are not a very good running team. So that's kind of working out for Cincinnati, as they're not going to be run all over like the Browns do with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt against them. But at times we've seen Pittsburgh where we keep counting them out, but they keep quietly winning football games. My Browns could very well end up being in last place. I've said it's Pittsburgh's division to be in last place, and I think it's going to be Cleveland at this point because Pittsburgh just kind of keeps sneaking some wins in there every once in a while. And that was when they were banged up. Now they're at least back to full strength, whatever that means. They got, they have all these weapons on defense. They got Watt. So I don't know. I don't know how to pick this game. And I don't really want is Bengals fans to be too cocky and confident about this matchup with the Steelers, because there is nothing about the way you're playing right now that you should feel confident about being able to beat the Steelers, because the Steelers' strength is their defense. And the weakness of the Bengals, and there's quite a few, is that offensive line, which that's frustrating. Look, I don't know what else to say about that. The reason I haven't poked fun at that offensive line as much this year is because it's not like the Bengals didn't try. The Bengals went out and got 3 dudes, put them on that O-line. 3 guys that, let's say the Browns had a bad O-line and the Browns would have got the Lyle Collins and those same exact dudes and Karras in them, I would have been pleased. I would have been more than happy with that. I would have been like, good for the Browns going to address the offensive line. And the Bengals did a good job addressing the offensive line in the offseason. I think the narrative that they're continuing to ignore Joe Burrow is not true. They've gone above and beyond for Joe Burrow. He has Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. He has an offensive line that they spend a lot of money on because it wasn't very good last year. Is it unfortunate that it's bad and possibly worse this year? Oh, it's even more frustrating. I love taking shots at the Bengals, but I'm not going to take a shot at them for the offensive line as far as the intent. The intent was to protect Joe Burrow. The problem is they stink. They're not good. They're not very good at all. Joe Burrow is actually on pace to get sacked more this season than last year, and he got sacked 70 times last year. Now, he got sacked 20 times in the playoffs. That would mean the Bengals would have to make a significant playoff run to get sacked more than 70, but he's going to come pretty dang close, and that's without a playoff run most likely. So we'll see what happens. But the Steelers, they're going to get to Joe Burrow. I said this coming into the year. The Bengals were a feel-good team last year. They snuck up on teams. They snuck up on teams in the division. The Ravens were conditioned, okay? They were conditioned to disrespect the Bengals. They didn't fear the Bengals. There was nothing about the Bengals organization to fear. They feasted on the Bengals for decades, man. Like they don't respect the Bengals. So last year when the Bengals finally get talent, the Bengals punched them in the mouth, not once but twice. Same thing with Pittsburgh. No matter what time of year it was or what kind of season it was, Pittsburgh knew that they could look at Cincinnati on the schedule and, well, cool, we get another bye week. And then Cincinnati last year, they end up being better than what anyone had anticipated, even the most homer of Bengals fans. And guess what? They were really damn good. And guess what? They weren't your typical Cincinnati Bengals. And Pittsburgh mocked them not once but twice. The Ravens mocked them not once but twice. And that's why the Bengals beat them both not once but twice. Guess what? This year, it's not the typical Bengals team. The Steelers and Ravens are no longer conditioned to overlooking the Bengals. That's why the Bengals have got beat by the Ravens. That's why the Steelers took the Bengals serious and just literally physically beat him up the entire time in week 1. And they're probably going to physically beat him up coming up again in week 11. I think the Bengals should win, but the Bengals have 4 losses this year that should have been wins too. This Pittsburgh Steelers team, they don't have a whole lot to play for this year, but they're going to really enjoy beating up on Joe Burrow. That's kind of their Super Bowl this year is, hey, we're not going to win a lot of football games, but we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that the Bengals don't win football games either. That was the Ravens' approach, who are winning a lot of games. That's the Steelers' approach, and the Browns, they may not win a whole hell of a lot, but they're very similar to Pittsburgh. They're going to do everything in their power to not let Cincinnati win a lot of football games. I think it's going to be close, and I think it is going to be an ugly football game. I think it's not going to be as bad as week 1, but I think Joe Burrow's not going to look very good, and it's not because Pittsburgh is going to take a lot of stuff away. It's because he's not very good without Jamar Chase. Tua Tagovailoa looked like a bum quarterback until he got Tyreek Hill. Now he's an MVP candidate. right? Like Josh Allen was very average in years 1, 2, and then he goes and gets Stephon Diggs, and he's been an MVP candidate ever since. You have to have the elite wide receiver. That's what makes the quarterback. And right now, the Bengals don't have one. T. Higgins is losing money right now. T. Higgins has to find a way to step up. If T. Higgins can have a monster game on Sunday against Pittsburgh, T. Higgins is going to make a lot of money. But unfortunately, I think T. Higgins is losing money. T. Higgins is showing the Cincinnati Bengals, who in the back of the Bengals' minds, they're like, we got to find a way to pay Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Joe Burrow. We got to pay those three, and we'll figure out the rest later. Right now, the only thing that's happening is T. Higgins is being average, and that's not a guy that you need to go into debt for to pay to keep him long term. I think right now, T. Higgins is losing money. T. Higgins has to step up and be that one guy. I was told, don't worry, Jamar Chase is out. T. Higgins is a number one wide receiver. Has it looked like he's a number one wide receiver? I'm not trolling. I'm simply asking. Joe Burrow threw for 202 yards and 260 yards against the Browns, 202 against the Panthers. Joe Burrow is not Joe Burrow without Jamar Chase, just like Tua is not Tua without Tyreek Hill. You know, the elite quarterbacks in the league, and I don't think Joe Burrow's very elite. I think he's very close, but he's not elite. Elite is Patrick Mahomes, who loses Tyreek Hill and doesn't lose anything. All right, and then there's Tua, who we're trying to figure out. He gets Tyreek Hill, now he's an MVP candidate. Joe Burrow's an MVP candidate with Jamar Chase, although technically not really even this year. But you see my point. I'm not trying to be a hater too much. I know you guys are annoyed with everything I'm saying, and that's fine. I just don't think this Bengals team has to find a way to figure it out. If the Bengals can throw all over Pittsburgh on Sunday, if they could dominate Pittsburgh on Sunday, okay, then I think Cincinnati's okay. But I'm telling you now, if they lose to Pittsburgh on Sunday, this isn't a playoff team. You can hate me all you want. This isn't me trying to stir the pot. If the Bengals lose on Sunday against Pittsburgh, they are not a playoff team, because that means that there is a whole lot worse with this team than just not having Jamar Chase, because they were average with Jamar Chase and now they can't win a game without him. That means there's a lot more underlying issues that we're not even privy to at this moment. Getting DJ Reader back is key, though. Let the defense go win you some football games, because the offense has not, outside of attacking the worst passing defense in the NFL and the Falcons, outside of that, this team has not really looked the same as last year. Disagree, agree, 518-1410. I'm not trolling. It's just my opinion. It's my Browns bias, right? 518-1410. Let's go to Dustin. Dustin, thank you for being patient.
Hey, so originally I called on the previous conversation about the Browns-Buffalo game, which I do completely agree with you and the fact that it's going to take away from the Browns. You know, they would have ran all over Buffalo, but at the same time, when you talk about logistics, trying to get the Browns team in there with the emergencies they have, I think that would have been a possibility. So I don't think it was all necessarily just a conspiracy theory, which is a unique thought. But
no, by the way, I don't even believe. I threw it out there because I've seen quite a few people actually buy into that. And I think there's something there. I think that there's enough there that you can go down that path and down that rabbit hole and maybe feel a certain way. I don't really think that. I'm not going to bed at night saying the league's trying to screw the Browns in this, but it is unfortunate for the Browns, because I think that was their way. The Browns season's on the line in the next 2 weeks. They have to win one of these next two to still have a shot when Deshaun gets back. But if they lose to the Bills and Bucks, I don't give a rip who's quarterback. The Browns are done. And I'm not too confident, even if they win one of the next two, that they're guaranteed to make the postseason. So we'll see.
Right. Well, and I'm one of those crybaby Bengals fans.
I love them. I don't have a show if it's not for you crybaby Bengals fans. So it's not like I dislike you guys.
No, not a problem with that. I honestly am on board with you where this next couple games are going to really determine what type of Bengals team that we do have. And I agree that losing Jamar Chase did take quite a bit away from our offense. We can't take the top off without him. So I actually am in agreement with you with most of the things you're saying today. So that's pretty rare, but.
Well, real quick, Justin, who's T. Higgins, though? Who is T? I know, by the way, that wasn't a dumb question. I know who T. Higgins is, but seriously, who is T. Higgins? Is T. Higgins a elite number 2 receiver that dominates because of the attention that Jamar Chase gets? Or I agree. When Bengals fans tell me he's a number 1, I believe you. I want to believe that anyways, but I'm having my doubts. But I do think that first game against the Browns is just a matchup thing. They always play poorly against the Browns. And then the Panthers, that was a game that I was expecting more out of the pass game, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Talk about the run game, at least for 1 week. The run game was so hot, there was no need to go away from it. I don't know. I think this is a big week to figure out who T. Higgins is, because I think the Bengals, I think they're trying to figure out too, okay, do we need to pay all three of these guys, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins? I think T's playing for a contract, as weird and silly as that sounds.
Oh, I 100% agree on that. I mean, it's kind of back when Hushman-Zada was here with Ocho Cinco. He was a great possession receiver, but at the same time, if you didn't have the attention on Ocho Cinco, then it really took a lot off his game.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Look, I think T's really good, and if he was a Browns on the Cleveland Browns, I'd love him on the Browns. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know, man. I expect more. Look, deep down, when I was talking smack after Jamar Chase went down, I kind of understood why everyone was saying that they'd be fine without him. They just haven't looked like it so far. That's why I think Sunday's important. But Dustin, thank you, man. I appreciate your call.
All right, thank you.
518-1410, 518-1410. So I've been told that if I change my attitude and change my tone, that I could still have the opinions I have, and I wouldn't be so confrontational with fans. Maybe this is proof of that. My boss threw me a challenge today. He said, have your opinions. Keep your opinions. Don't change who you are. Just change how you deliver who you are. So I tried something new today. I 1,000,000% do not think that Joe Burrow is a good quarterback without Jamar Chase, or I should say elite. He's very good. Don't get me wrong. But it's all in how I say it. And I just had a very nice conversation with the Bengals fan that usually does not like me very much. And he probably still doesn't like me, but we at least had a nice conversation. So I'm going to work. I'm going to try this tone thing. It seems to be working. Oh, maybe not. Dan Floudy, or whatever his name is, says he only threw for 200 to go because he got pulled up 42-7 with 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Watch the games. Okay. I did watch that game. The Browns rough. I watched that game, Danny boy. I did. And at no point did I think that Joe Burrow in the pass game was overwhelming. Like, luckily the run game was going, but what if the run game was not there to complement that against the Panthers? Watch the game. Watch this. Watch the game. Calm down. I see this. I try to tell my boss I'm going to be calm, but then I get dumb comments like, don't tell me to watch the game. I watch the games. We just apparently don't see the same thing because you have Homer glasses on. That's how I watch the Browns with Homer glasses every week. I feel like, oh, they're fine. They're 3-6. They're not fine. You're doing the same thing. Watch the games. Not local. Watch the games. Don't tell me to watch the games. Anyways, Chad says, I agree 100%. Thank you. Gary Peck says, I just sent a picture of the Bill Stadium right now to your post about the Jets Giants. I couldn't post it here. Play ball. Gary, I'm going to go take a look to see what you're talking about. But I'm assuming, about the conditions in Buffalo right now. Yeah. Look, at this point, it's still not too late, NFL. At this point, it's not too late. It may be easier for Cleveland to fly into Buffalo Sunday morning than it is to try to, unbury all of the Buffalo Bills team out of the houses that they chose to stay in, knowing a blizzard was coming, instead of getting on a plane and getting to Detroit sooner. But hey, that each their own. Maybe the Browns could still go to Buffalo and play in that snow. Let's see. We'll see. Anyways. All right. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Bengals fans, you heard Dustin call in. We had a nice conversation. I'm going to prove to my boss that I can continue to have nice conversations with Bengals fans, except for Dan Floudy. Not him. Anyone but Dan. Anyone but Dan. But do you agree? Do you have any concerns about the Bengals over the last couple of weeks? I know they're 1-1. But even the one win that they had, they didn't win because of what they normally win with, and that's the pass game. The pass game wasn't there. It just wasn't. I don't care that they took Joe Burrow out with a lot of time remaining. We'll be right back. 518-1410.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
The mid-afternoon and early evening will be mostly cloudy, cold, and breezy, a high near 32. Tonight's going to be partly cloudy and cold, a low near 18. And tomorrow's going to be clear, sunny, and cold, a high near 35. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Ohio, DraftKings Sportsbook is coming. To celebrate, all new customers will receive $200 in free bets. Plus, 5 lucky customers will win a $100,000 free bet. That's right. DraftKings Sportsbook is giving you $200 in free bets just for signing up today. No deposit required. Plus, you'll be entered to win a $100,000 free bet when you sign up. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and sign up with code WING1410 to get $200 in free bets to use once mobile sports betting hits Ohio. Plus, 5 customers will win a $100,000 free bet only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code WING1410. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966. 21 and up. Physically present in Ohio. Eligibility restrictions apply. See terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Subject to regularity licensing requirements. 1 per customer. $200 issued as $825 free bets. No purchase necessary for sweepstakes. Void where prohibited. Ends first day. DraftKings is allowed to operate in Ohio. See terms at dkng.co/OH.
Have you heard? $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right. My friends at Cordell Transportation are now hiring Class A CDL drivers for home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freight with brand new equipment, and offering a $5,000 sign-on bonus paid over 18 months, paid orientation, company 401k. Plus, they're now hiring recent truck driving school graduates. Apply today. Online at CordellTransportation.com. Driven to succeed.
You can't always see bad weather coming, so it's essential that you're able to see through it when you drive. Michelin wiper blades with advanced technology hug your windshield like a Michelin tire hugs the road, channeling away water, snow, and ice so you can see clearly, drive confidently, and breathe easy. Michelin wiper performance, clearer than ever. Upgrade to Michelin premium wipers today at Walmart, Amazon, Tire Kingdom, and other fine retailers.
Finding the right Medicare plan? Oof, no easy feat. Kind of like those dances my granddaughter loves making me do. But then I found Walgreens FindRx coverage. Lets you compare plans online, over the phone, or in person. Made Medicare shopping so easy. Plus, I found plans with low-cost copays. I can get down with that. When you need to talk Medicare, Walgreens is here. Start shopping today at walgreens.com/Medicare.
Hurry into Menards for the last 11% off in 2022. Secure your home with our wide selection of TrueBolt lock sets and deadbolts. TrueBolt door locks provide homeowners, professional installers, and builders with quality products at an affordable price. Available in a wide variety of finishes, you'll find the perfect one to match your style. Get 11% off all TrueBolt lock sets and deadbolts at Menards. Good through November 23rd. Savings are mail-in rebates. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
This is Education Matters with Ohio Education Association President Scott Tomorrow.
This is American Education Week, a time to celebrate the power of our neighborhood public schools to change lives and empower students to realize their potential. It's also a time to celebrate the educators who make our public schools great. To Ohio's teachers, bus drivers, cafeteria workers, professors, paraprofessionals, school secretaries, nurses, librarians, and more, we say thank you.
Education Matters, brought to you by the Ohio Education Association.
Hi, this is Eddie Sorrell, Body Shop Manager at Germain Honda of Beaver Creek. Our technicians have over 125 years of total experience. That means we can repair your vehicle correctly and efficiently. So when you need a dependable body shop, we're here. And we repair all makes and models with new state-of-the-art equipment to get you back on the road quickly. Plus, we offer loaner cars during service and free estimates. Stop by and see us. Germain Honda of Beaver Creek, State Route 35, just east of 675 between Xenia and Beaver Creek.
Hey, Buckeye fans, as the official wing sponsor of your Ohio State Buckeyes, Roosters is giving away 12 trips for 2 to this year's Buckeye Bowl game. Each trip comes complete with airfare, hotel, gift bag, and 2 tickets to the big game. 1 bowl prize winner chosen each week, along with other cool Roosters weekly prizes. So register every week at roosterswings.com. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Official contest rules at roosterswings.com.
I'll second guest dinners with friends because they can be interrupted by diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or oily stools.
It turns out I have EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, which means I'm missing the enzymes needed to digest food. My doctor prescribed Creon, pancrelipase, an oral prescription medication that replaces pancreatic digestive enzymes. Creon treats EPI due to cystic fibrosis, chronic pancreatitis, pancreatectomy, or other conditions.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall. If you're allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules, as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon.
Creon is the #1 prescribed EPI treatment. Ask your doctor about Creon for EPI and visit creoninfo.com or call 800-633-9110 to learn more. That's CREON info.com.
Where do Black Friday deals come with happy holiday feels? Lowe's, actually. Black Friday is happening now. Don't miss out on all the deals on the top brands at Lowe's.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com.
Justin Kinner back with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio, 518-1410, 518-1410. That's the number to call and jump in on the conversation. So we knew that the Bengals went without, they lost Jamar Chase just days before the Cleveland Browns Halloween matchup. And it was reported that he could miss anywhere between 4 to 6 weeks. This is week number 3 that he would technically be missing, or week number 4, right? Like, so he missed the Browns, he missed that Browns game, missed the Panthers, missed the bye week. So heading in, this is week number 4. So he's been officially ruled out for this game with Pittsburgh, which doesn't surprise me. However, like, I do wonder at what point do we start getting more information on Jamar Chase and the significance of this injury, because this kind of injury is always a little alarming to me, because I know while everyone said that, oh, well, with the injury in the hip and everything, it doesn't require surgery. And, oh man, that's the best case scenario. Sometimes though, and again, I'm not a doctor. I did go to college for 8 years. Well, actually that's not true. It took me 8 years to graduate. I didn't go to school 8 of those years, but it's besides the point. But my point is, I'm not a doctor. I don't know all the buzzwords to use to even try to pretend like I'm a doctor on here, but like, at least if you're going to have surgery at least means that there's something to repair and that it can repair, and that there's at least some kind of, some kind of repair that you can go and do. Like, I mean, he's just resting, and resting doesn't mean that this problem is going to go away. So if Jamar Chase does come back, let's just say it is against the Titans. I mean, the Bengals schedule coming up is brutal. All right. You're 5-4, probably going to be 6-4 after this week. I'm not picking the Bengals to beat the Titans. So that's 6-5. And then they're going to be 6-6 with the loss to the Chiefs. And then you got the Browns coming up, and they're going to have Deshaun Watson at that point. The Bengals haven't been able to beat Baker Mayfield or Case Keenum or Jacoby Brissett. And now they're going to beat all of a sudden Deshaun Watson. Like, I don't think so. Like, things are about to get ugly. They need Jamar Chase. And I don't have a good vibe or a feel for it. Like, the Bengals have been keeping that like close to the vest, and it's different than in college. They have to be a little bit more. There has to be a little bit more information out there than in college, of course. But I do worry about that injury, and I would be worried about that injury, Bengals fans, because although at the time everyone was in such shock when the news was broke about Jamar Chase's injury about 3 or 4 weeks ago, that right away the conversation went into, well, the report says 4 to 6 weeks, and I know report says 4 to 6 weeks, so let's just see what the Bengals could do in that meantime. Well, we're already in week 4, and he's not back, and he's not better than last week, and I don't know if he'll be better next week than this week. And this week he can't play. The Titans, that's a big game. They just won last night against obviously the Packers. The Titans are rolling. Mike Vrabel's just doing a fantastic job leading that Titans group, by the way. I know they haven't played since, of course, the playoffs last year, and they sacked Joe Burrow 9 times, and somehow Joe Burrow and the Bengals came out on top in that. But my goodness, like I'm really – I don't know when we can expect Jamar Chase back. I know everyone was counting on just him being a freak of nature and him being such a physically imposing figure that he's just going to come back because his body's naturally going to heal, and I'm sure that's what our bodies do. They naturally heal up. I get that. But I don't know. At what point? I mean, so if he doesn't play next week, that'd be 5 weeks out. And then the Chiefs is 6 weeks out. I mean, if he's not back by the Browns, like this is no longer just a slight concern. This is a major concern. With or without Jamar Chase, this upcoming schedule is brutal for the Bengals. I'm not doing the whole I told you so thing, but I do remember coming into the season saying that the Bengals, I think that it was going to be tough for them. I didn't pick them to win the division. I picked them to make the playoffs. I'm starting to kind of be unsure about that right now because I said coming in, if you look at the gauntlet of a schedule that they have to close out the season, if the Bengals aren't perfect to open up, and I said this, I will pull the audio, if the Bengals don't come out hot to start the season, they're not making the playoffs because if you have to rely on going up against the Ravens to win the division in the back half of the season when you got to play the Buccaneers, the Patriots, the Bills, and the Ravens to close out the season, and now that we know that the struggles against the Browns are real and continue, you could add the Browns into that mix, and then they got the Chiefs before the Browns, and then you got the Titans. This is the last bad team you're going to play in Pittsburgh. After this, these teams moving forward, there's no pushovers. The worst team you play moving forward is Cleveland, but we've learned that it doesn't matter how bad Cleveland is. They just seem to have Cincinnati's number. Nothing's guaranteed. And by the time you play Cleveland next, they're going to have their top 5 quarterback back. So, again, I'm not stirring the pot. Relax. But I do think that at some point we have to have that conversation about when Jamar Chase could potentially come back. I know some guy, if you're still tuning in, he gets mad at me when I bring up the Jackson Smith and Jigba thing. But I thought that sometimes when teams aren't reporting anything good, people right away gravitate towards they haven't said anything bad either. Well, we as human beings, instinctually, we just like to deliver good news. If we have bad news to deliver to someone, we avoid them. We don't want to tell them that, right? Like we don't want to tell that person the bad news unless we absolutely have to. Well, I think the fact that there has not been any positive message about the, prognosis, of course, of Mr. Jamar Chase, I think that's a bad thing. I think it's a very bad thing. I pointed it out with Ohio State and Jackson Smith and Jigba. I said they were being very weird about Jackson Smith and Jigba. They were not committing to anything in any of their verbiage or any of their description of how this was being handled. And now you have Ryan Day come out the other day and say he's hoping that Jackson Smith and Jigba is back. He's not expecting him back. He's just hoping to get him back. He's not getting him back. So right now, the Bengals put out that 4 to 6 week window because what that did was it bought them a month and a half. It bought them a month and a half so that they could sit back and maybe, they're going to get asked about it, but they're not going to field as many questions about it. Well, guess what? We're at the month point now. And next week is week 5. And then after that, it's week 6. I think we're very close to now. The Bengals are going to have to come up with another excuse or another window of time of he's going to be out an additional 2 to 3 weeks. They're going to keep kicking that can down the road. Why? Because they don't want to deliver the bad news to you. They don't want to upset you. But I think they just need to rip the Band-Aid off and say, hey, this isn't indefinite. Like his window of being out is indefinite because we have no clue how this is going to heal up. We're hoping it's 4 to 6 weeks. It's week 4. I'm just saying sometimes if nothing positive is being delivered to you news-wise, it's because there's nothing positive to deliver to you. And I think that's the problem. I know a lot of you are falling back on the whole idea that, well, they said 4 to 6 weeks. I get that. But a lot of times when guys come back sooner rather than later, like, for instance, Watt came back sooner than later. And the Steelers, they were dropping nuggets weeks ago. Remember before Watt even came back? He came back a lot earlier than expected. They were dropping nuggets weeks ago saying, hey, that he's actually healing up pretty quickly. They're confident they're going to get him back way sooner than anticipated. The Steelers did that. They reported that. Why? Because the reason they leaked that is because that was some good news. That was getting the fans invested back into it. The Bengals aren't doing that with Jamar Chase. That's where I would be concerned about the future of Jamar Chase. So they got to find ways to win and to win without him. Because I don't know. I'm not saying Jamar Chase is done for the year, but I mean, we're running out of year. It's week 11. And the Bengals are going to improve most likely to 6-4. But after that, the final 7 weeks of the 7 games of the season, it's going to get pretty brutal. It's going to get pretty brutal. 5-4. Gonna be 6-4 after Sunday because I think they're going to beat I don't think it's going to be ugly. I think the offense. I think we're still going to be concerned about Joe Burrow after this week. I think we're going to be talking about the offensive struggles. I just think Pittsburgh's that bad. But without Jamar Chase, the Bengals don't have a chance to have a 500 record after this weekend when they got the Titans, the Chiefs, the Browns, the Buccaneers, the Patriots, the Bills, and the Ravens. I mean, even the biggest homer of Bengals fans can't confidently call into this show and say we're going to finish 4-3. I don't think you could say that at all. I don't know what you could even say. That's a brutal schedule. Steve Keaton on Facebook, he says, again, we're live on Facebook. Search the Justin Kinner Show on Facebook. You could jump in the conversation there. He goes, the saving grace for the Bengals is that quite a few teams on the Bengals' remaining schedule will also be in the battle for the AFC wildcard spots, so they basically control their own destiny. Go 5-3 the rest of the way, and they at least get a wildcard spot. And you're right. Like, just go 5-3. But you have to go 5-3 against these. I mean, you heard the lineup right there. Like that, I don't think that's that easy. I think the worst team on the schedule is the Browns moving forward. And that's not, I mean, no matter how bad the Browns are, I think, again, the Bengals haven't been able to beat Baker Mayfield. They haven't been able to beat Case Keenum. The Bengals haven't been able to find a way. They couldn't even beat Jacoby Brissett. And now they're going to face a top 5 caliber quarterback. At least he was the last time he was in the league. Obviously, this league shifted a little bit. So I don't know. We'll end up seeing what happens. Maybe the Patriots, maybe that's one you could circle as a win, but that's still Bill Belichick. There's just something about Bill Belichick that continues to keep them in the running. But again, not stirring the pot. All I'm saying is that for those of you out there who are like, well, no, the Bengals haven't delivered us good news, but they haven't delivered us bad news either. When there's good news to deliver, we want to deliver it. We want to deliver it quickly. A month and a half ago, the Steelers started releasing reports that, hey, Watt is actually healing a lot faster than we anticipated. He's going to be back significantly sooner than we thought. There's nothing like that coming out of Bengals camp. And it's week 4. He was supposed to be out for 4 to 6 weeks. Now, there's still a couple more weeks to fall within that window, but 4 to 6 weeks, he's supposed to be this freak athlete that's supposed to just kind of naturally heal and heal quickly because of how athletic and super freak athletic he is, right? I don't know. I'm just saying. Maybe I am stirring the pot. I don't know. I don't care how you really view it, but I'm always a negative person, so I'm being negative here. If I'm a Bengals fan, I would be negative too. That's just how I am. I'm just a negative person. I don't know if you know that about me or not, but there we go. Steve Keaton says Burrow has beat Mahomes twice when it mattered. That was when the Bengals had Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase beat the Bengals, or beat the Chiefs. They're not beating the Chiefs. You're not beating this Chiefs team, not without Jamar Chase. And honestly, with as poor as the Bengals offense has looked with Jamar Chase this year, even at times, I don't think they're beating him with him, but he gives them their best shot. Chad says, with our run game, I can at least see Cincy finishing the year 4-3. Chad, now with that, I only ask this because are you really like, did that one game against the Panthers from Joe Mixon, like that's what makes you feel confident about the run game? Because that run game is not good, or at least it hasn't been. So, Chad, are you saying that run game, like that game to you means the run game's back? Is that what you're saying? Like, I don't think that, but I also think there's a happy medium somewhere. I don't think Joe Mixon is as dominant as what he was against the Panthers, but I also don't think he's as bad as what he was in weeks 1 through what are we week 10? I don't know. We'll keep an eye on it. Damon Hahn, he says the Bengals beat the Chiefs 2 times. I remember the Bengals trailing by 17 each game. Folks, this isn't Michigan Football Hour. We're not doing the whole guess what we used to do in the past. This is about right now. This is about this season. This isn't the same. It's the same. This is the same roster, an improved roster from last year, but this isn't the same team. They're not playing with the same intensity. They're not playing at that same level that they were a year ago. But yeah, Chad said the run game is horrible. We'll be right back. 518-1410.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Hungry for a great time, maybe some great food? Then come on down to your neighborhood Submarine House. Try our Philly cheesesteaks, our oven-toasted deli subs, our mouth-watering salads, pizzas, appetizers, and more. And wash them down with a unique selection of craft beers while watching the big game on our big screens. With locations around Dayton, in Columbus, and our newest sports bar in Kettering, you're never far from a Submarine House. Subs, sports, spirits. Submarine House.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry's starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter code IMPACT at checkout. That's harrys.com, code IMPACT. Enjoy.
It's pro time because at Lowe's, it's Provember. Save big with inventory you can count on, like Flex products or DeWalt power tools starting at just $99. Plus, Lowe's MVPs members earn up to 3 times bonus points per dollar on select items. Save all Provember long. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. MVP's Pro Rewards Program terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/L/Pro Loyalty terms. Subject to change. Prices valid from 10/17/22 to 2/3/23 or until supplies last.
Progressive presents today's to-do list for your dog.
Check front door. Check window. Check other window. Rest chin on ground. Look into distance. Bark for no reason. Check front door. Check window. Check other window.
Your pet has a very busy schedule, so it's up to you to make sure they're protected. That's why Progressive Car Insurance covers your pets for up to $1,000 if they're ever in a car accident with you.
Chase shiny ball. Lose shiny ball. Find shiny ball. Eat shiny ball.
Get coverage for your pets with any auto policy from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage for cats and dogs included with the purchase of collision coverage and subject to policy terms.
If you turn 65 this year, you are eligible for Medicare. To help you understand your choices and possibility of financial assistance, the Ohio Department of Insurance is holding Welcome to Medicare events across the state. So join us at a free event near you. Make sure your plan suits your budget and your needs. For more information, contact the Ohio Department of Insurance at 1-800-686-1578 or go online at insurance.ohio.gov.
Don't put it off any longer. You know it's time. Time for a bathroom upgrade by Bath Creations. Bath Creations is a leader in bathroom renovations, providing the very best value in bath and shower remodeling and proudly made in the USA. With Bath Creations, you get a beautiful modern bathroom that's safe, comfortable, and affordable. Attention first responders, veterans, and active military. Save $500 off your purchase right now. Visit Poe Avenue in Dayton or online at mybathcreations.com. And upgrade today.
Fall into a new career. KTH Parts Industries has immediate openings, second shift production associates, and equipment technicians. Material handling experience is a plus. This is an excellent new opportunity that offers an attractive benefit package, medical, dental, 401k, attendance bonus, and a competitive wage, starting at $19.75 per hour with annual increases. KTH is hosting open interviews Monday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. through 3 p.m. Visit kth.net. KTH is an equal opportunity employer.
Free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes AutoZone America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Hey everybody, it's Stephen A. Smith, and everyone knows my feelings on Cowboys fans. But really, Justin Kenner, you're a Cowboys fan and a Browns fan? Good Lord have mercy. I don't know what the hell to do with y'all. I really don't.
It's the Justin Kenner Show with Kev Nash. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Justin Kenner back with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. The Cincinnati Bengals get DJ Reader back. their Week 11 matchup with the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's good for them as we currently sit here. But, of course, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they have T.J. Watt back, and now it was just announced that they're going to get Minkah Fitzpatrick back as well. He had missed some time doing appendectomy, but he is back and ready to go, and he's going to play on Sunday, 4:25, the kickoff between the Bengals and the Steelers, Week 11. A big one there out of the AFC North. A lot of big games coming up this weekend. I want to close up our NFL talk here in just a moment. I'll get back to some more of the conversations that are happening on the social media side of things here shortly. But some big ones coming up. The Eagles and the Colts. And normally I'd find this matchup very boring, but I am trying to figure out, I know a lot of people are very down on the Colts, but the reason that the Colts still fascinate me as far as a team that has an opportunity to make a little run here is because sometimes there are talented teams that just need a jolt to kind of wake them up a bit. And the Colts, let's not act like this is not a talented team. This is a talented team. They have an MVP candidate at running back, maybe not an MVP candidate this season, but was a MVP candidate last year. Right? When we talk about the Colts run game. And I do believe that one of the reasons, I think that the Colts were a downward spiral, and that's one reason why they decided to switch quarterbacks and go away from Matt Ryan. But the bottom line is that there is a lot of talent still on this Colts team. And right now, all they needed was just some kind of sense of belief. And I think by getting Matt Ryan back at, starting him over Sam Ehlinger again, I think that's going to, Matt Ryan and Jonathan Taylor, that quarterback running back combination, I know the wide receivers aren't the most elite when it comes to the Colts, but that's still a very good offensive line. There's a lot happening with the Colts that could spiral in the right direction now. And the Eagles, who just faced their first loss of the season, now they're kind of mentally reeling a little bit too. And this is that time of the season where the pretenders and contenders start to kind of separate themselves a bit. I'm not saying the Colts are a contender. I'm just not sure how much of a pretender that they are. Everyone kind of piling up on the Colts and saying how bad they are and all this. They've been playing really, really bad, but this team had Super Bowl type expectations coming in. Were they the favorites? Absolutely not. But had the Colts got to the AFC title game, that's not a roster that you look at and say, my gosh, I can't believe they're here. It's not like when the Bengals made that run last year, which, by the way, the roster looked very strong by the time the Bengals got to the AFC title game and got to the Super Bowl. But they were a surprise team. I don't think the Colts, if they kind of turn this baby back around, I don't think that they're a surprise team. You got Jonathan Taylor, you got Paris Campbell, you got Matt Ryan, you got weapons, you got a good offensive line, you got, steady pieces on that defense. But this team was very inconsistent at times. They tied the Texans in week 1, and they lost to the Jags. And they beat the Chiefs. They have it in them. They beat the Chiefs back in week 3. Then they lost a one-possession game to the Titans. And then they beat the Broncos and Jags in back-to-back weeks. So they were able to make up for the loss that they had against the Jags in week 2. And then they lost 3 straight, which led, of course, to the exit of Frank Reich. So now, as we sit here right now, they get a change in head coach. They get Jeff Saturday in. Jeff Saturday all of a sudden just kind of gets this team to buy in and believe. And then they beat the Raiders. Now, the Raiders, that's not a good football team. I get that. That was a huge win, though. That was a huge win because it wasn't about the opponent that you beat. It was about the fact that you came together, you bought back in, you followed your new head coach, who everyone has made such a big deal about the lack of experience, which I think was the biggest, bunch of BS out there. And the Colts, I think right now have a sense that they believe they belong. And now the Colts at 4-5, they have the Eagles at home. Okay. They have the Eagles at home. And then they got the Steelers. And then I feel like we're about to talk about how the Cowboys are about to start really coming down to earth a little bit. The Cowboys got a lot of wins that they maybe not. I don't want to say shouldn't have got. I don't think the Cowboys are as good a football team as what everyone's making them out to be. They're a winning football team. I get that, but I think the NFC East is still one of the more overrated divisions out there. I mean, think about it. You got. They're headlined by the Eagles, who I think were a very weak, undefeated team. I don't care what anybody says. We've been pointing this out for a while. I think everyone was kind of just following along. Okay, the Eagles, they win another one, and then another one, and then another 7-0, 8-0. Then they get that loss last week. They didn't lose because they're a bad team, but at the same time, they haven't. What's their marquee win? What's the one win that the Eagles have that you're like, that's what makes them Super Bowl contenders? Their quarterback, solid but average, a little above average. Okay, they have an okay run game. I love the fact that they added Ndamukong Suh. I think that they're really just overloading on defense now. More power to them. And you're going to stop some guys. You're going to stop. When you think about that defense that they're getting, they know the best way to beat Tom Brady. The only threat that the Eagles look at in the NFC, they look over and they see Tampa Bay. And the way to beat Tampa Bay is to put pressure on Tom Brady. That's why they went out and they loaded up on defense at the trade deadline. They go and they get Ndamukong Suh here. They feel like they have just enough weapons on offense to be effective. You don't have to be an elite offensive team in the NFC to get to the Super Bowl. Now, I'm not picking the Eagles to beat the Chiefs or the Bills, or let's say the Bengals make another, magical Cinderella run back to the Super Bowl. I'm going to take if the Bengals are in the Super Bowl again. Like, here's the deal with the Bengals, as much as I hate on them. If the Bengals are in the Super Bowl again, that means Jamar Chase came back. That means the passing game kind of gelled and kind of reverted back to what it was last year. That means Joe Mixon is building off of what he did last week or 2 weeks ago. If the Bengals are back in the Super Bowl, I'm still picking them over the Eagles. I'm not sold on the Eagles, but the Eagles are a physically built team that is good enough to win the NFC. Well, we're overhyping the NFC. We're talking about all these great teams in the NFC. The NFC is not very good. There's a lot of winning teams in the NFC, but the Giants. So let's look at the NFC. Let's take a look at what's happening in the NFC, and then let's have a conversation if the NFC is really anything to worry about. The Eagles are arguably the best team in a horrible conference. The Eagles are 8-1. No one was really believing in them as an 8-0 team. But the Giants are 7-2. Does anyone believe in the Giants? I don't. I don't fear the Giants. I don't fear the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott, it was dumb to pay him from the very beginning. I was screaming from the mountaintop, don't pay Dak Prescott. Jerry Jones was being called every name in the book. And I was team Jerry Jones on that. Jerry Jones, he was a sucker for the pressure that the media put on him, and he caved. Jerry Jones made some very backhanded compliments to Dak Prescott, at the press conference when they did pay Dak Prescott. Jerry Jones knew it wasn't the right move. But at times, to be fair, it's hard to even find quarterbacks as good as Dak Prescott. That's why there are organizations who are willing to sell their soul to the devil just to get a quarterback who is capable of playing at a high level like the Browns did with Deshaun Watson. Because the only way to win in this league is to have a quarterback. And the only way to even have a chance to win is a quarterback that even looks remotely average at times. You can't even find them. Dak's that, though. Dak is average, and he's overpaid. And there are certain quarterbacks that you can give a lot of money to, and they are so good that although the team will struggle to put money towards other positions, that guy is good enough to overcome some of the deficiencies. Aaron Rodgers has done that in Green Bay for many, many years. He can't do it anymore. He's 38 years old. That's not because Aaron Rodgers isn't good. He just can't do it anymore at 38 years old. It's kind of like in the NBA. Everyone's like LeBron. There's no way the Lakers should be losing like this when you have LeBron James. LeBron James is 37, 38 years old. Like, come on. LeBron James is old by NBA terms. And the dude still puts up MVP numbers, but we're not going to talk about that because his team stinks. That's not the point. The point is Philadelphia, I'm not sold on them, but they're 8-1, so they're going to get all the attention. But I'm not sold on the Giants. I'm not sold on Dallas. And then somehow there's the Commanders at 5-5, whatever. They're at 5-5 because they have a very good coach. Ron Rivera, I love Ron Rivera. I would love Ron Rivera as the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. Any team out there would love to have Ron Rivera as their head coach. There's not a whole lot of head coaches that I look at and say, man, that's a leader of men right there. This team will run through a brick wall for the coach. The Bengals aren't running through a brick wall for Zach Taylor. My goodness, Zach Taylor, I don't get it. I think Zach Taylor is one of the problems in Cincinnati, but that's a conversation for later. Kevin Stefanski, no, he's not bad. I have a friend of mine loves the Browns as much as I do, if not more. But he goes, Kevin Stefanski might be the best coach we've had since coming back. And I'm like, yeah, but that bar is pretty damn low. That bar is pretty low. To say Kevin Stefanski, since Cleveland has come back to Cleveland, Kevin Stefanski is the best coach that Cleveland has ever had since coming back. That's a low bar. That's a very low bar, and I'm not even sure if saying that is saying anything. But he's one of my best friends, so I don't tell him that. And we'll see how good of a friend he is. He's probably not even listening, so he probably won't even hear this. So good job. No, in the NFC, how about the NFC North? The only team that I respect there is the Vikings. Or the only team that I really respect out of the NFC, is the Vikings. But as good as the Vikings are, I don't think, even though they just beat Buffalo, I'm not, if they run into each other in the Super Bowl, I'm picking Buffalo. I don't care that Minnesota just won. Give, Cousins a lot of credit. Give Vikings credit. They went and they won in a tough atmosphere. They won at Buffalo. More power to them. But Minnesota, that's my team out of the NFC. That's the best team in the NFC right now. But the Packers are garbage. The Lions and Bears, oh my. The South, the Buccaneers, 5-5, average on a good day. The Falcons, Panthers, and Saints stink. The NFC West, The San Francisco 49ers can't stay healthy. That should be the team that comes out of the NFC if they're healthy, but right now they stink. The Seahawks, they're a feel-good story. Good for Pete Carroll. They stink. There's only one team in the NFC right now that is good enough on offense and defense to win a Super Bowl, and to me, that's the Minnesota Vikings. Everyone's going to say the Eagles. That's fine. But I'm not a big fan of Kirk Cousins. I don't know if I'll trust Kirk Cousins in these big moments, but I've seen nothing of Jalen Hurts that I could trust him in big moments either. He hasn't played in any big moments. And you could argue that one of the biggest that Cousins just won one of the biggest moments games of his career, and that instant classic that we saw. So the bottom line is I'm looking at the NFC. The NFC, garbage. It's garbage. I'm not a fan of the NFC whatsoever. But the AFC, man, that's loaded. And you look at the Colts right there, the Colts have a shot to make things interesting down the stretch as we head into the final a month and a half of this season. The Colts, as much as love my Browns, but the Colts have a better shot at making the playoffs than the Browns do. 7 teams make the playoffs. The Colts are 4-5-1. They're behind the Bengals. The Colts are probably, and this is where I'll anger people, the Colts will finish with a better record possibly than the Bengals. You're probably rolling your eyes. Oh, there's Kenner hating again. No, we just talked about the Bengals schedule a little bit ago. Like, the Bengals are not as good as you think they are. They have not played very good football this year. They're 5-4, and they've played all backup quarterbacks. They're not a good football team. So the Colts, if they get a win over the Eagles, and I'm predicting that's one of my upsets as we head to this weekend, the Colts are going to beat the Eagles. The Eagles are about to lose their second straight. The Colts beat the Eagles. They're 2-0 under Jeff Saturday. Jeff Saturday can give the middle finger to all the people out there that try to doubt that, he should have been the head coach and yada, yada, yada. I'm going to become the biggest Colts fan in the world because of Jeff Saturday. I love Jeff Saturday. So I hope that happens. The Colts beat the Eagles 5-5-1, and now look out because the Chargers are 5-4. They're banged up. I don't trust them. The Bengals, I don't trust them without Jamar Chase, and they have a brutal schedule. I mean, it's insane. They have the Bucks, the Bills, the Chiefs, the Browns, who they can't beat. They got the Ravens again. They got the Titans. The Titans 2 weeks ago, I maybe wanted to circle as, oh, man, look out, Bengals. But the Titans are a legitimate I mean, they were the 1 seed last year for a reason. And I think they're still just as good a football team. I mean, they lost, some star wide receivers, and it hasn't hurt them at all because they're winning because of their defense. And that defense is going to stop what is not a very good offense with the Bengals right now. And the Chargers. Oh, yeah, the Patriots. They're sitting at number 7. I don't think and by the way, the Bills or the Jets are at number 5. I don't trust the Jets. The entire AFC East is not going to make the playoffs, right? The Patriots and the Jets, if I had to put money on it, those 2 teams will not make the playoffs. They're in the playoffs if they started today. But I believe the Colts are going to beat the Eagles, and then they're going to start rolling. They got Matt Ryan back at quarterback. They got to start, running that dang football and then relying on that defense. Jeff Saturday, I think, is going to push the right buttons. The Colts are my team to look out for to make things interesting in the second half of the season. And then who knows, the Browns, if they get a win in one of the next 2. The Browns just need to win one of the next 2. When you look at the bottom of the AFC right now, it's not good. The Browns have a shot here if they lean into their strengths. The Colts and the Browns have a chance to make a lot of noise here. The Browns at 11, the Colts at 10. But the Bengals, Chargers, Patriots, and Jets are 4 of the 5 teams at the bottom of the AFC that still have striking distance to get to the playoffs. I'll take the Browns and the Colts as far as getting hot at the right time. I think the Jets have just kind of jumped out the hot side. I'm not sold on the Jets. I'm not. 518-1410. I threw a lot at you. My bad. I started rambling. It's okay. I love playoff talk. And now we're wrapping up November. We're heading into the final week in November. December's almost here, and then the playoffs are. We could literally in about a week and a half, we could start talking about the playoffs being a month from now. That's pretty cool. I'm ready for it. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio. Hour number 3 coming up next. The Holiday Help Out's officially live, folks. Get out and donate. Of course, head over to the Washington Township Recplex again. There's the information. The Washington Township Recplex, 895 Miamisburg Centerville Road. Non-perishable food items, anything related to Thanksgiving Day meal items, of course, that'd be much appreciated too. A lot of families in need this holiday season. Everything you donate is going to go right back to our community thanks to our friends at the Good Neighbor House. The Holiday Help Out Food Drive, it started 2 minutes ago. How about that? As soon as I wrap up the show today, hanging out with all of you, I am sprinting out there and I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. Can't wait to help give back to the community, and we're asking for your help. Help us, help the community, be a part of it. I'd love to do this together. Browns fans, Bengals fans, we'll all come to Michigan fans, Ohio State fans. We're all one when it comes to this. So come on out. Looking forward to seeing all you guys. But yes, we'll be out at Woodland Lights tonight. That's going to be really cool as well. Looking forward to that. All right, I'm going to step away for a few moments. I see some phone calls coming in. I promise you, if I miss your call, keep calling. I'll get you back on hold. It's the Justin Kinder Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
Veterans, were you exposed to harmful burn pit smoke while serving overseas? The Department of Veterans Affairs has recognized and is providing benefits to veterans who suffer with asthma, rhinitis, and sinusitis as a result of burn pit exposure. If you served in the Southwest Asia Theater of Operations or Afghanistan, Uzbekistan, Syria, or Djibouti, and suffer from any respiratory illnesses that you believe is a result of exposure to burn pits, contact the Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission at 937-225-4801.
It's your last chance to save on big projects. Hurry into Menards for the last 11% off in 2022. Get 11% off easy flooring updates for your home. Transform your home with 11% off new Mastercraft doors. Or go even bigger and get 11% off a new garage. Don't miss out. There's no limit to what you can save during Menards' last 11% off in 2022. Good through November 23rd. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Your daily commute. You could do it alone. The downside is spending thousands each year on gas, parking, and vehicle maintenance, not to mention the air pollution you're causing. There is a smarter way. Introducing GoHio Commute. What is GoHio Commute? It's a free service with info on commuting options like ride matching for carpoolers, van poolers, and bike poolers, and links to local public transit providers. Go to MiamiValleyRideshare.org or call 223-SAVE for details. Ohio Commute, a smarter way.
Want to make tonight's dinner a true winner? Just stop by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken and pick up a 12-piece family meal at a great price. You'll get 12 pieces of our classic Famous Recipe Chicken that's honey-dipped, hand-breaded, and pressure-cooked just right, along with 3 of our large sides and 6 fluffy biscuits. This is temptation times 12. Get the family meal that's big on flavor and on value with the 12-piece family meal. Only at Lee's. Famous for chicken.
Did you know that 3 Ohioans are diagnosed with oral cancer every day? Dentists are doctors of dental surgery and can recognize life-threatening conditions and treat oral diseases before they become serious health complications. Ohio Dental Association member dentists are located throughout the state and are dedicated to providing the highest quality dental care. Ask if your dentist is a member of the Ohio Dental Association and American Dental Association, so you know you're being treated by the best. To find an ODA dentist in your area, visit associationsadvanceohio.com.
At McAfee, they're more than just an air temperature company. They're an air quality company. Breathe easy. Choose McAfee.
There are many ways to catch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. You can catch it live right here on 1410 Wing AM, or you can stream the show at wingam.com. But now we have another way that you can take in the show. You can now watch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash live on ESPN Dayton's Facebook page. Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Buckeye fans, if you are out and about in the Troy area tomorrow and you want to hang out with College Football Hall of Famer Dayton's own Keith Byers, and I'll be there too. But we're going to be at Submarine House in Troy tomorrow. We have our Buckeye pregame show. Keith Byers and I will go live from 2 to 3:30. We'll be live throughout the pregame show, of course. We'll be kind of going back and forth with Skip Mossick, Paul Keels, and the rest of the Buckeye Broadcasting Radio crew, of course. But if you want a chance to meet Keith ahead of the big game next week, again, next week is the build-up. It's the week of the game, right? The biggest rivalry in all of sports, right? Ohio State, Michigan, a week from tomorrow. How about that? So pretty jacked about that. But tomorrow we got to focus on Maryland, of course, and we'll be doing that at the Submarine House in Troy. If you're out and about, want to come on out and hang out with us, I always say Submarine House is the spot to watch the Buckeyes all season long. Looking forward to seeing all you Buckeye fans out there. This is fine. Like, for as many bad games as the Buckeyes play throughout the year, not bad games, but bad opponents. Maryland, obviously not a great, sexy opponent. But I think we can come out tomorrow and kind of kick off the weekend, focus to next weekend, looking to that team up north. But really looking forward to meeting some of the Buckeye fans over in Troy. We always have fun when we go up there. We haven't been up to the Troy location yet this season, but Keith Byers and I live tomorrow, Submarine House in Troy, 2 p.m. to 3:30. I'm going to be all over. I'm going to be, of course, at the Washington Township Recplex, of course, for the Holiday Help Out Food Drive. I'm going to be there from 10 a.m., to about 12:30. Then I'm going to be shooting over to Troy to host the Buckeye pregame show. Get ready for Ohio State, Maryland. Shoot back, get back over here so we can continue, helping with the donations and stuff to give back to the community. And then, it's going to be a busy, fun weekend. So I look forward to seeing all of you, whether it's at the Buckeye pregame show or at, of course, the Holiday Help Out Food Drive. Please, if you can, I'd love to see you. Come on out and be a part of a good cause. So thank you guys on that. But picking up where we left off, it's a lot of NFL today. But, yeah, someone said the other day, like, they're annoyed at how much NFL we talk. But that's what this show is. That's what we talk, college football and NFL. That's what this show is. When it gets to the heart of college basketball season, we'll heat up the UD stuff and all that. Yes, absolutely. But relax. We got high school football conversation coming up around the corner, but it's a 3-hour show, and there's a lot of people in this town, and everyone has an opinion of what we should be talking about and stuff. But there are more people that would rather hear about the NFL, the Browns, Bengals, and college football with the Buckeyes than anything else. And if not, then they'll fire me and find somebody else to find tennis or something to talk about to appease you. I don't know what you want me to say. All right. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio. So I got this tweet. The Colts. So I guess I could reset here. Someone asked me, what is a surprise team in the AFC that can make a run to the playoffs that's not currently in the playoff picture? I think they thought I was going to say the Cleveland Browns. I didn't predict the Browns to make the playoffs coming into the season. I've said the last 2 weeks that their season's over. There is a weird window that they could make things interesting if they beat the Bills and they get to 4-6, and then they, it's not like Tampa is, Tampa's playing really good football right now, though. And I don't see them beating the Bucs and the Bills, but they got to get one of the next two. And then we'll talk. When the Browns and Bills, when they get to that point, when we get to the point where the Browns beat the Bills or the Browns beat the Bucs, my tune will change. But for the time being, the Browns aren't making the playoffs. The Colts, that's the team that's not in the playoff conversation that I think has a chance to make a run into the playoffs. The Bengals aren't in that conversation. But I think that they are in the conversation. The Colts, everyone's checked out on, right? Like, that's why they fired their head coach. You throw Jeff Saturday in there. This team is doomed for failure, right? I disagree. The Chargers have been so banged up. Justin Herbert is playing with a bunch of no-name wide receivers. He's not going to have his weapons this weekend either. He has had busted ribs since week 2. He has not been the same all season, but his numbers are still pretty damn good. I give him a lot of credit for that. I'm a big Justin Herbert fan. Love Justin Herbert. Even though he did beat my Browns when I was in Cleveland for that game, I could still forgive him for that. But the Chargers, I don't like their coach. They're not a very well-coached team. He coaches just well enough for them to be a competitive football team, but his bad decision-making that's backed by analytics, talking about Coach Staley, UD's own, they lose a lot of football games because they lose more because of them than they win because of them. That's what I always say. Bill Belichick, as bad as the Patriots are, I'm not big on the Patriots, okay? But he wins them more games than he loses them. Mike Tomlin's another one. He wins them more games than they lose. And it's not about the win-loss record. I'm talking about his approach to the game. The Steelers should be tanking and should be at the bottom of the league, but they're annoying. They keep winning football games instead of going on losing streaks to put them in position to get a top draft pick. The Steelers are going to screw around, win 7 to 8 games, and be right there in the middle of the pack in the draft. They almost do themselves a disservice, but that speaks to the competitiveness of their head coach and Mike Tomlin, and the same thing goes for Bill Belichick with the Patriots. Then there's Staley, who has a better roster than both of those teams, and he's hanging around in the same record pool with them. That's a problem. So I'm out on the Chargers. The Bengals are 5-4. They have yet to play consistent football season. I'm done talking with the Bengals kind of for the time being, but they're 5-4 facing all backups. Okay. Their defense has been solid. Their offense, who everyone says they're good because of their offense, they're actually losing because of their offense. They're losing. Joe Burrow is not in any MVP conversation. How? Oh, it's the offensive line's fault. Oh, it's the running back's fault. Oh, it's the wide receiver's fault. It's always somebody else. It's never Joe Burrow. Every other team, it's because of the quarterback. But no, it can't be Joe Burrow. It's Joe Burrow. He regressed this year. He took a step back. And even if he didn't regress, he didn't take a step forward. And that's the problem. Everyone else is getting better. He's not. That's the problem. The Bengals, I have no faith in them. Their schedule is brutal down the stretch. So I picked the Colts. They got Matt Ryan. They got Jonathan Taylor. They got a top offensive line. They got a run game, which is key. And they got a very good defense. I'm going to roll with the Colts. I think the Colts have the best shot at making a run into the playoffs out of the AFC. 518-1410. Let's go to Steve. Steve, thanks for holding, sir.
How's it going?
Not too bad. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm good. I just want to start out with saying go Bucks.
Absolutely. I can't get into I want to build up Ohio State, Maryland, but come on, you guys know there's no building up Ohio State, Maryland. It's just one of those, let's be excited to watch Ohio State for a quarter and then start paying attention to what else is going on because the game will be done by then.
Right. Well, hopefully.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Anyways, I was just wanting to know your conspiracy theory about the game being moved. Because if it's supposed to stop snowing Saturday, where's all the bad weather going to be on Sunday?
You think it's coming up here?
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I mean, look, the weather's hitting now, and the weather will be done by Sunday. I just felt like Buffalo mismanaged how they've handled all of this. I think that it's very poor of them. I don't think the game should have been moved at all, period.
Well, you're probably right, but I'm just saying, I think Josh Allen would be able to throw on a Sunday there because I heard you say that. And it's just like, because they'll be able to clear the field. And I don't know if it's supposed to be windy up there or anything. So I just think that by them moving the game, I don't think that would affect, the Browns being able to, because it's not even going to be a snow game if it ain't snowing.
Well, no, the snow.
You know what I mean? You're going to see the snow on the sideline.
The snow blowing all over the place. It's supposed to be real windy that day. On top of that, too, the elements it's just a crappy weekend in general.
Because if it was going to be like the Northwestern game with that snow blowing, I could see that.
Yeah. Yep. But
so that was just my opinion on that.
No, that's not bad. So what you're saying is that hey, the snow is going to be stopped by Sunday, so the snow is happening now. Technically it wouldn't be a snow game. There'd be snow on the ground, but it wouldn't technically be a snow game because there's not snow coming down at the time. So yes, I can see where you're coming from with that.
There might be some snowballs. Yep. You know what I mean? But, but that was just my opinion on that.
No, I appreciate it, Steve. Thank you.
All right. Have a good one.
518-1410, 518-1410. Doug Toby on Facebook says, didn't the Bengals win like 6 games towards the end of last year with Burrow passing for only 200 yards with a horrible line? Maybe this line is starting to gel. In what universe do you think this line is starting to gel, Doug? Why are the Bengals the only team in the universe that get years to gel? Why do they get to gel? The offensive line is always gelling. They're always gelling. There's always an excuse for this team. Stop with the excuse, Doug. Just say, yeah, our team needs to stop playing like ass and actually just, go be a good football team. You're going to win and lose. I get that. That's part of the game. But stop making excuses for this team. They're not gelling. And this isn't last year. Joe Burrow was playing very good football last year. He's not playing very good football this year. And he's definitely not playing good football without Jamar Chase. He's not very good without Jamar Chase. This isn't last year. I have no clue. Why do we keep doing this? Well, they did it last year. This isn't last year. The Rams were in the Super Bowl last year. Do you think the Rams fans are still calling into their local sports talk shows and saying, hey, we're not very good this year, but hey, you know what? Last year, man, we went to the Super Bowl. No, this is because they're smart fans. They understand that last year was last year and this year is this year. What up, Brad Mays? Brad Mays says Buffalo said it's because fans can't get to the stadium safely. He also says only safety crews allowed on the street in Buffalo, from what I heard. Oh, no, that's the thing with this whole Buffalo situation, though. The second that they announced that this storm was coming, The entire Buffalo Bills team should have already been in a plane flying the hell out of Buffalo. It doesn't matter that they didn't find out till yesterday afternoon that they were going to be playing in Detroit. They knew they were going to be playing somewhere. They just didn't know where. So get out of the place that's going to keep them. This is Buffalo's fault. They stayed. They stayed. You know, my wife and I, we got engaged when we got engaged years ago, back in 2020. We were in Pensacola, and I remember we got stuck in Pensacola because of a big hurricane that had come. And I remember before that, I always used to make fun of people who, you know, I was like, why am I feeling bad for people in a hurricane? Like they tell you that it's coming and you choose to stay and blah, blah, blah. And I know that sounds insensitive. Not everyone has the financial means to just get up and go. I get that. But that doesn't mean that at the time before that my perception was that you're being told ahead of time that something bad is coming. So get the hell out of the way. Otherwise, if you choose to stay and then something bad happens, I'm like, what the heck? You chose to stay in it. That sounds very mean, very insensitive. I completely get that. But this is football, so I don't care if I come across insensitive on this because life's not that serious when it comes to football. So we got engaged in Pensacola a couple years ago, and when we got there, we were told there'd be a tropical storm. And it would be bad weather for a couple of days, but by the end of the week, the weather would be beautiful. So we decided to stay. We go to bed. The Hurricane Sally was heading towards New Orleans. I'm like, all right, fine. We're just going to get the brunt of it, right? We're going to get that tropical storm. We're just going to get the brunt. We're going to get the outside of it. You know, we're going to get some wind and some bad rain, and then we'll move on. Okay, cool, super, fantastic. So we go to bed that night. We wake up. The eye of the hurricane had shifted, and the eye of the hurricane was coming directly towards us, but the flooding would have been more dangerous to drive through, so we decided to stay. So now I became one of the idiots that I always used to make fun of, but damn it, I went there to get engaged. That's what was going to happen. I got engaged that year. So we got engaged during a hurricane. Point is I made a decision to stay, probably a poor one. Her dad was ready to kill us because we stayed in harm's way. We stayed in the eye of a hurricane. How dumb were we, right? Like, we sound dumb. We deserve to get ripped on for that. That's what I feel about the Buffalo Bills. You knew this storm was coming, and you decided to stay. Well, what do you mean? They just announced yesterday it was in Detroit. This storm has been coming for days, and the league had been talking for days about moving it out of Buffalo. You knew it was going to be moved. It was just a matter of where. So the only thing the Buffalo Bills could have done was get the hell out of Buffalo, and they could figure out the where later. They're millionaires. If they had to fly all over the dang place until they finally found a place to stay, more power to them. But they have their families too. They're millionaires. They can afford more than one plane ticket, even in today's inflation-led climate. Just saying. Now I'm getting all distracted. I don't even know what the hell we were talking about before. But the Colts, that's where I'm at. So I'm responding to people on Facebook. Steve Keaton says, so if Indy could beat the Chiefs, why can't the Bengals? Look, I am picking an unlikely team to make the playoffs in the Bills. Or I'm sorry, in the Colts. And I said that the Colts, I think, have all the makeup in the world. They have a run game. They have a very good quarterback, an aged quarterback, but I still like Matt Ryan. I still think there's something left in the tank, and especially when you have a coach that's not pulling you as a starter just because. Like, he has a coach that's going to believe in him now. They're going to be building off that confidence. The Colts, all right, coming up. And by the way, did I say that the Colts could beat the Chiefs? I said I feel like if they beat the Chiefs coming up, they have some games that they could win moving forward. They're in it as much as the Bengals. The difference is the Bengals I have zero faith in because the Bengals are 5-4 against backup quarterbacks, and now you want me to believe that they could beat Patrick Mahomes. But let me guess, they beat them last year, right? The Bengals beat them last year. This isn't last year. It's like, I don't know. Do Bengals fans own a calendar? Some guy on Facebook, help me out. I think me and you, we're not going to do a holiday help out, but me and some guy, we are going to start our own little, not a food drive, but a calendar drive. We're going to collect calendars for the needy Bengals fans in the area that need to know what year it is, because y'all keep living in the past like you're Michigan fans. My goodness. This is 2022. 2022. This isn't last year. This isn't about what you did in 2021. This is about this season. This year, not good. We're 5-4. We have a winning record. You're one game above 500 against backup quarterbacks. You're not good. And you're not good without Jamar Chase. That's not a hot take. That's common sense. So stop bringing up what you did in 2021 when you had Jamar Chase. Simple as that. Again, with going in the past. Rich Wills. Rich, thank you for this, by the way, because Rich did provide an article. So earlier I had said, I'd be a little alarmed if I'm a Bengals fan. I haven't seen any reports about the timetable for when you could expect Jamar Chase back, but Rich Wills did say that he read that the Bengals are targeting Week 11 versus the Titans for Chase's return. Obviously, that could change, but at least there's a date. Rich, thank you for that. I had not come across that, so I appreciate that. So that does change my tune a little bit, because earlier I said, I think it's alarming that there's been no timetable for his return. We just keep hearing every week, it's week to week and week to week. I felt like the Bengals organization is just telling fans 4 to 6 weeks to give them a month and a half to kind of before they have to really bear the bad news. But if it's the Titans, that's a good thing for the Bengals, because you can get through the Steelers without them. The Titans, I'm not so sure as far as that's concerned. John Slayton says, I was pessimistic most of last season. I love John, but again, back to last season. I was pessimistic most of last season, not sure what team was going to show up. And the way things have been this year, I'm even more pessimistic. The next 2 weeks are huge, as they should win them both. But if they don't, then they are done, unfortunately. Time will tell. John, I mean this respectfully, but what do you mean they should win them both? They're not the Titans. Have you watched the Titans? Like, the Titans are a very good football team. That defense is stout. That defense, I mean, Vrabel's defense is fantastic. They have a run game. They have pass rushers, and they have Derrick Henry. That's the Browns. The Browns have pass rushers and Nick Chubb. That's what the Bengals couldn't stop and can't stop. That's what the Titans have, except the Titans have a legitimate head coach, and they have discipline on both sides of the ball, and they're just a very good football team. The Bengals are not very good this year. So I mean this nicely, John. I don't know what you mean by they should win the next two. There's nothing about that Titans game. I wouldn't put $1 on the Bengals beating the Titans. No, not because I'm a hater, but because that's how good the Titans are, and the Bengals don't deserve the benefit of the doubt that they can. Oh, but let me guess, and I mean this nicely, John. They did it last year, right? I don't know. Man, some guy says, laugh my ass off. He accused Steelers fans of living in the past. Now they do it. That's what they do. That's what everyone does. Dennis said he got tickets in Detroit for $20 a piece. Row 9, go Browns. Man, if I wasn't doing this holiday help out, giving back to the community I love, I'd be right there supporting my Browns for affordable tickets. How about that? That is pretty cool, though. So you got tickets for $20? Row 9? That's not bad. That's not bad at all, actually. That's pretty cool. So I guess there's a little perk to that. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of Browns fans in Detroit. Someone had messaged into the show earlier saying that the moving the game out of Buffalo was more in favor of the Browns than Buffalo. I said, absolutely not. If the game stayed in Buffalo with the elements and the wind and the snow, Josh Allen's not throwing the football. That's a win for the Browns. I don't think, they said, well, the Browns are going to have their home fans. I'm like, the Browns are 3-6. The home fans aren't helping them at all anyway. So it's kind of where I'm at with that. But look, a lot of messages still coming in. I'll try to get to some of these during the commercial break. We'll step away for a few moments. Phone line's back open, 518-1410, 518-1410. I do want to get into previewing a couple of the high school football playoff matchups. I mean, as good, I love high school football in the Miami Valley, but I'm amazed at how often we get to this point of the season and we don't have a lot of local representation down in the state playoffs. Like, there's so much talent. I hate the fact that the GWAC just cannibalizes one another. And I get it's tough to do because they have these regions. You have a lot of these teams that, play close by, but there's so many good teams that just cannibalize one another that, a lot of the better teams are eliminated early on. Like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe I'm just being whiny or whatever. The GWAC, it's not just talking about them because we call a lot of their games, but it is one of those things where I do hate the way that things are spread out to the point to where you take the best teams in the area, you take your Waynes and your Centervilles and your Springfields and your Fairmonts, and they had all these amazing seasons, and then you just throw them in to that region, and then they just all cannibalize one another, and now you have one team from all the great teams here locally coming out of that region, and now, you know what I mean? Like, it just it's interesting to me, but I get it. That's how geography works, so don't worry. I understand why it's that way. It's just unfortunate because, it just cannibalizes one another. We'll be right back. 518-1410.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
The mid-afternoon and early evening will be mostly cloudy, cold, and breezy, a high near 32. Tonight's going to be partly cloudy and cold, a low near 18. And tomorrow's going to be clear, sunny, and cold, a high near 35. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Hey, my name is Hooper. We are here doing Holiday Help Out here on 101.5 Hank FM, 92.9 Jack FM, and ESPN 1410 Wing AM. We are here in Washington Township, set up at the Rexplex, right in between the west and east buildings, actually right where they're doing Woodland Lights. And tonight is opening night of Woodland Lights. But we are here doing our annual Holiday Help Out. Our sister station, 92.1 WROU and Faith Daniels, have been doing this for the past 7 years. And we're joining in on the fun full force this year. So you can either see us here at Woodland Lights in Washington Township, or you could check out the other location in Trotwood, Firehouse 72 on Little Richmond Road. And we are collecting non-perishable food items. And Clay is out here with me. You're making a little Christmas tree of cans.
I got a Christmas tree of cans, some stovetop stuffing, because really it's all about the non-perishable, not just food items, but toiletries as well. You can bring those out and cash donations. If you forget on your way out to Woodland Lights, we can take them out here or online as well. It's really easy.
It's super easy. And I'm seeing you got some great like Thanksgiving food items. And that's really what we're looking for.
Yeah, I mean, this time of year is when we need to stock the shelves. So whatever you can spare, we would love to see it. And if you can't spare anything, give us a share on Facebook. Spread the word, because there's somebody out there that has a little extra that they can help our neighbors out.
Yeah, or just come out and hang out with us too, because we could use your body heat, the warmth out here. Come on out and join us. Again, Woodland Lights going on tonight. Going to be a great opening night for that. And come on out. If you're going through Woodland Lights, bring a few cans with you. Go through the cupboard, find some food that's, fruit cocktail. If you're not going to use it this year, pass it on. We'll take it gladly out here. We're set up with the Holiday Help Out in Washington Township with Alpha Media Dayton.
Hi, I'm Sales Manager Jason High at Germain Honda Beaver Creek, proud recipient of the prestigious President's Award. We are your local Honda dealer, and we invite you to see our newly renovated state-of-the-art facility. You'll be amazed at our selection, and remember, all new Hondas come with a lifetime powertrain warranty. Visit us at Route 35, just east of 675, conveniently located near Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Germain Honda Beaver Creek, the right car, the right price, the right way. I'll see you soon.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week, there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Larrick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 McOil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larrick's, continuing the tradition.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Progressive Snapshot can save you money based on how you drive and how much you drive. So the safer you drive, the more money you could save. Now, if you didn't hear that because you were looking at your phone while driving, let me say it again. Seriously, put down your phone. That is so unsafe. If you didn't do stuff like use your phone while driving, you could save money with Progressive Snapshot. But saving or not, just put it down. And if you did hear it the first time because you weren't looking at your phone, nice work. You'd love Snapshot from Progressive because it rewards safe drivers. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California and North Carolina or from all agents.
The Wendy's $3 breakfast deal is here. Get a bacon or sausage, egg, and Swiss croissant plus a small seasoned potatoes. That's a better breakfast for just $3 in 3 easy steps. 1, wake up. 2, get out of bed. And 3, head to Wendy's for your $3 breakfast deal. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's $3 breakfast deal.
Limited time only. Participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours. Select or request $3 breakfast deal in order to obtain discount. Not valid for a la carte or combos orders. Price and participation may vary in Alaska and Hawaii.
Ohio has over 920,000 diabetics. If you are a diabetic, take a step in the right direction by having your feet checked routinely by a podiatric physician, the most qualified doctors to care for your feet. Adding a podiatrist to your healthcare team can help you better manage the effects of diabetes on your feet. Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association podiatric physicians are located throughout the state. For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit associationsadvanceohio.com.
It's pro time because at Lowe's, it's Provember. Save big with inventory you can count on, like Flex products or DeWalt power tools starting at just $99. Plus, Lowe's MVPs members earn up to 3 times bonus points per dollar on select items. Save all Provember long. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. MVP's Pro Rewards Program terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/L/Pro Loyalty terms. Subject to change. Prices valid from 10/17/22 to 2/3/23 or until supplies last.
Progressive presents today's to-do list for your dog.
Check front door, check window, check other window. Rest chin on ground, look into distance. Bark for no reason. Check front door, check window, check other window.
Your pet has a very busy schedule, so it's up to you to make sure they're protected. That's why Progressive Car Insurance covers your pets for up to $1,000 if they're ever in a car accident with you.
Chase shiny ball, lose shiny ball. Find shiny ball, eat shiny ball.
Get coverage for your pets with any auto policy from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage for cats and dogs included with the purchase of collision coverage and subject to policy terms.
With Discover, you can redeem your rewards for cash in any amount at any time. Learn more at discover.com/redeem rewards. Terms apply.
I'm Tamron Hall. Doesn't your family deserve the best? Eggland's best eggs, classic, cage-free, and organic, give you and your family more delicious farm-fresh taste, plus superior nutrition. Compared to ordinary eggs, Eggland's Best provides 6 times more vitamin D, 10 times more vitamin E, and 25% less saturated fat. These are no ordinary times, so why choose an ordinary egg? Only Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Yeah, we're replacing the carpets too, so don't worry about that.
No fresh powder yet, but Dan's ski lodge has an avalanche of projects.
Those 4 rooms are getting hot tubs.
He needs a staff engineer to navigate a flurry of new requests.
And all of those will be fully ADA accessible.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
We are Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Down the sideline to the 10 and drags a defender in the end zone for a touchdown. Jackson Smith-Njigba, a 50-yard scoring strike from C.J. Stroud. He'll hit the Purdue 40. Down the left side to the 30. Henderson to the 20 to the 10. And into the end zone goes Henderson.
Don't miss the Buckeyes all season long, right here on 1410 ESPN Radio and on 92.9 Jack FM. Go Bucks!
All right, and we are back. I'm Justin Kinner with you here on a Friday. We're ending the show a little early. I shouldn't say ending the show a little early, but we're going to hand it off to a segment from earlier in the week coming up here just around the corner. Kev Nash and I did cap or no cap, college football, NFL, big matchups heading into the weekend. Ohio State, Maryland coming up, TCU and Baylor. TCU, my goodness. So Barstool Sports put out an article. I put this out on Facebook earlier. I was amazed that Barstool Sports of all. I love Barstool Sports, but they put out an article that really trying to paint it out to, that TCU is just being bullied in the media. And I'm like, you got to be kidding, right? That TCU is being bullied in the media. Barstool Sports is the biggest bully media out there, and they're accusing everyone else of bullying TCU. TCU is being treated like a mid-major school in the college football playoff rankings. No, because mid-major schools don't get ranked number 4. If anything, they are, like I said, they're a charity case. They are literally there for, I have no clue why, to make the committee feel good like they're doing the right thing. There are some people who do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. And a lot of you are going to be doing that this weekend when you come out to the holiday help out. I'll tell you more about that in a moment. But then there's people like the committee that they know they're doing the wrong thing by putting TCU at 4, but they want to feel good about themselves. But they go to bed at night knowing that TCU is not really the number 4 team in the country. TCU is a joke at number 4. It is okay. It's when you tell teams, hey, teams with losses are being rewarded for playing a tough schedule. All right. But teams who don't play a tough schedule don't get punished for not playing a tough schedule. Like Ohio State does not get penalized for not playing anybody. You could say Michigan has been penalized for not playing anybody, but they're at number 3. There's only one team in the country that has been awarded for being average, and that is none other than TCU. Not Alabama, not LSU. Those teams have losses because they play somebody. They're challenged. Not TCU. And the reason I know this is because if Ohio State was to face Maryland, who, by the way, what is Maryland's record? And they are facing Maryland this week. Don't get me wrong. Let me check Maryland's record just so I can make sure of something here, because I want to get your guys' attention with this. Let's say, all right, Ohio State and Maryland. Okay. Maryland is a 6-4 team. Ironically enough, they're 6-4, just like Baylor. But Ohio State is facing a 6-4 team. And when I look at the number 2 team in the country, and they're facing a team that has 4 losses on the year, I expect a line that should show the significance of a team that's number 2 in the country going up against an unranked 4-loss team. Guess what? Ohio State is a 27-point favorite tomorrow at 3:30 when they take on Maryland. But the number 4 team in the country, the team that the committee is trying to convince you is right up there with the big boys. TCU, the number 4 team in the country, 10-0, just like Ohio State. They're going up against a 6-4 team. 6-4 Baylor, 6-4 Maryland. TCU is a 2.5-point favorite. Can you imagine if Ohio State, a top 4 team in the country, was a 2.5-point favorite over Maryland, a 4-loss team? What would your reaction be? What would the haters' reaction be? Alabama would laugh Ohio State off the field. Same thing with Tennessee, Georgia, Penn State, everybody else. So why are we sitting here saying TCU's the real deal? They deserve to be there. Vegas, and I agree, someone wrote on the Facebook page that Vegas should actually put the college football playoff rankings together. Vegas, they would get it right. And they have it right here. Vegas is telling you that TCU is a fraud. TCU is a fraud. I don't care that they beat Texas. That's also a 4-loss team. So what? It's sad that, like, and I caught myself doing this earlier in the week. I was like, oh, you know what? Good for TCU, man. Like that was a good win against Texas. No, it wasn't. It was a win, but it's sad that if Ohio State, like for instance, Alabama beat Texas, who's a 4-loss team. Are we saying that Texas is a good win for Alabama? No. But we're sitting here patting the little cute little Horned Frog team on the head saying, good boy. Good job. You're so cute. Keep doing you, man. Like, no. The playoffs is about the adults. They're about the real teams in the country, not a charity case. TCU is a charity case. We got to stop with this whole idea that because you're undefeated, you deserve to be there at the top. Sometimes you're undefeated because that's the result of playing nobody. TCU is a very good football team. They're a New Year's Day, New Year's Six bowl game type of team. But they are not a college football playoff team. And they have no business being at number 4, 10-0. I said this about Cincinnati last year. They had no business being in the playoff. You don't get to play Eastern Carolina. You don't get to play, UCF. You don't get to play all these bad teams every single week. UCF is like the Mount Rushmore of teams that they play every year. You don't get to play those teams and then be told you deserve a spot at the college football playoff. No, you just don't. The Big Ten's horrible. Big Ten's horrible. But there are some teams who I don't need to see play somebody to know there's somebody. That's Ohio State. Michigan, they're getting that treatment. I don't think they should necessarily get that treatment, but Michigan's a very good football team, and we know that. But TCU, a 2.5-point favorite against Baylor. When Baylor wins on Saturday, when they win tomorrow, you will not hear a peep from me about Baylor getting the upset. I do not view when Baylor beats TCU tomorrow, I will rip up every article that tries to say Baylor upset TCU. Baylor did not upset TCU. Baylor might have beat the better team, but when I hear upset, to me an upset is a Northwestern beating Ohio State. Now that's an upset. But when Vegas is telling you that TCU at 10-0 at number 4 in the country, that they're only 2.5 points better than a 4-loss Baylor team, Vegas is telling you, who they get it right more than anyone else in the history of the world. They're telling you TCU ain't it. TCU ain't it. They're frauds. They're frauds. Give me a break. They have to lose. They better lose. I need them to lose. We need them to lose. I'm anti-TCU. TCU later. See what I did there? All right. Folks, I'm done for the week or for today. We're going to do cap or no cap. Kev Nash and I had done this earlier in the week, so take a listen to that. College football, NFL, all that fun stuff. But I'm heading out to, of course, Washington Township Rexplex coming up. That's, again, we're going to be out there from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. tonight. You just heard Hooper and Clay. They're live there right now, already accepting donations. But ESPN Radio, we're going to be there from 5 to 9 p.m. tonight, 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. tomorrow, and 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Sunday. And this is something that we're really excited about. We partnered up with 92.1 WROU years ago, and we were always out at the Trotwood Firehouse. And we were just out there, and we would help kind of support it with our station, of course, and our hands and our presence out there. But now we have a good team of people here with Alpha Media, which is the parent company of all of us, of course. And we wanted to expand this. So now the Trotwood Firehouse is still the home of the holiday help out with 92.1 WROU and Faith Daniels and Kev Nash with Hot 102.9. Y'all know Kev. Go see Kev. He's in Trotwood doing the same thing, but now we've expanded. We've involved our other stations, and we got another location. We're going to be, I'm heading over live to the Washington Township Rexplex right now to start accepting donations, and all the food that we accept is going to the Good Neighbor House, which will in turn go right back to those in need in our very own community this holiday season. And that's what I'm most excited about. So if you're out and about tonight, tomorrow, Sunday, and you have time to stop on out and drop off a donation, that'd be much appreciated. We cannot tell you how much we appreciate you, for one, listening and supporting what we do here, but obviously coming together for a good cause like this. I talked about it all week, but my wife and I, we think we're stressed because, oh man, we got to balance Thanksgiving between her family and my family, and we got to drive here and drive there. And I'm like, we're sounding like entitled, spoiled brats. Like, oh, poor us. We got too many families to go see for Thanksgiving. And then there's some people that they can't even afford to have a Thanksgiving. So again, we just got to remember those things at times when we think our life is too hectic. It's not. There's always, situations out there that we can do to help. And that's what this is. I love doing this. And we're heading out there right now. So come on out. If you have donations, make a donation. This goes right back to our community. If you can't make it out, head to wingam.com to make a monetary donation to the Good Neighbor House. Again, that all goes back to our very own community right here in the Miami Valley. We now have a cap or no cap between me and Kev Nash on the other side of this break. And then I look forward to seeing you guys coming up this weekend. I joked earlier in the week, kind of, not really. I'm going to be asking when the cars come through, are you a Browns fan or you a Bengals fan? I want to find out which fan base is the most given. Browns fans, Bengals fans. I'm going to be keeping a running tally and keeping you updated. So make sure you keep checking out the Justin Kinner Show Facebook page for updates throughout the weekend at the Holiday Help Out. Excited about that. We'll be right back. More of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410.